Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Little Kid Speak Radio. That's a problem. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you're going to listen live via the streaming free. Always don't miss anything. If you do miss something, hey, we got you covered. Post all 3 hours to iTunes and our own audio vault. That's a good thing. And if you need to, you can find it on the WTSM app as well. Feeling good on a Libations Friday, everybody? Doing all right? A little loosey-goosey? Warwick Dunn to join us in the 5 o'clock hour. Lee Sterling in the 4 o'clock hour. My mom, last but not least, in the 5 o'clock hour. All kinds of stuff. You know, I got to give a shout-out to my friend Terrell Baker, who is going into the Jersey Hall of Fame. We didn't get him on today. We're going to get him on next week. But, of course, he's a great Knoll, too, and he's got time. But I wanted to acknowledge that, and it's a pretty amazing thing to go into a Hall of Fame.
Speaking of Florida State basketball,
Boom.
Beyond the 12 o'clock tip tomorrow, they're going to have a ton of former greats in the house at the TLC-CC, including the likes of Dave Cowens and others.
They do that every few years, right? Get everybody out there.
They had one for the Louisville game.
2016, they did it up. Yeah, it was a big. Everybody was out there. Yeah, it's always neat, man. It's the alumni stuff that they do, and yeah, there have been, every now and then you realize you're standing next to a guy that was an all-time great, not just at Florida State, but went on to in the case of Dave Cowens, to be all-time great in the NBA.
Hugh Durham will be in the house tomorrow too.
Yeah,
they are welcoming the 1969-1970 team back to the house. That's awesome.
And they'll take on Georgia Tech, and that's a win you got to get. Florida State is 15-5, 3-4 in the ACC. Georgia Tech rolls in at 11-9, 3-4 in the ACC. Needless to say, not everything is a guarantee, so you hear those records, and you might be skewed to thinking that Florida State should roll and roll big. Well, they should win, but you got to play well. In the ACC, you got to play well, and you know that. And hopefully that time off, that extended time off, continues to heal this group. That looked so good the last time we saw them down in Miami. That is a really hobbled Miami team, devoid of any talent and depth, or talented depth, I should say. It's a better way of saying it. There is some talent there, but they obviously have struggled with everybody, and so Florida State did what they needed to do. Went on the road, got to win against a team that is not really able to match up, and road wins are hard to come by, so you don't sneeze at that. You take it and you ride out. And now you come home and you protect the TLC-CC, where Florida State plays exceptionally well. And hopefully, again, tomorrow we see some of that. The Noles lead the all-time series 40 wins to 29 losses, dating back to 1963. That includes 10 straight wins between 2008 and 2015. I remember we own that ass, and it's not too often you can say that about ACC teams, that you own them. I mean, we're not. At least not on the basketball court, right? We can say it on the football field, but not on the basketball court over the years. And because of ACC expansion and the resulting unbalanced schedule, the Noles and Georgia Tech, well, they have only met once in each of the last 8 years. This marks the first time since 2009, 2010 that the teams have been scheduled for a home-and-home. And we needed it this year. Thanks for scheduling a home-and-home with Georgia Tech this year. Good. We need those.
Yeah, and I think we have one with Wake as well, so that's big time.
Yeah, it's good. Since we joined the ACC, we're 26-19 against Georgia Tech, and in those 45 ACC games, 21 have been decided by 4 points or less. You recall this thing has oftentimes been rather precarious in the late going, and 32 of those games have been by 10 points or less, so it always seems to come down to sort of a classic finish or, really close games. And we're 21-11 here at home against Georgia Tech, 14-8 at the TLC-CC. So does that all bode well? I don't know. It's a history. We like to go over the history with you, but it may not mean much. Leonard Hamilton is 15-9 against Georgia Tech in his career here.
Well, on the court, as you look at situations, because we're going to see this Georgia Tech team twice in the next few weeks. We go up there, play. I think it's also on a Saturday night, but don't hold me to that. It's about scoring in transition off of their misses. If they get into a half-court set on defense, they're formidable. So offensively speaking, the quicker we can score, the better. But you have to be able to make stops on your own end in order to facilitate that type of offense. Watch a little bit of the North Carolina game, the first half, in fact, earlier this week when Georgia Tech hosted North Carolina, and that game was close through a half of play, relatively speaking. North Carolina got really red hot in the second half and never looked back. But you could see it. When Georgia Tech was allowed to set up in their matchup zone, that's a whole different animal than if they could if they could get beat in transition, because they can't stay in front of you if they have to play straight up man-to-man. But if they can get set into what they do, it's effective, and they've held some good teams down, including Virginia Tech, in low point totals, low point thresholds.
2-3 matchup zone, and I always worry about it because we don't always handle those situations well. Alvarado and Banks are their two studs for this team. They lead the team in almost every statistical category, and they've been a real inconsistent club. Let's hope they are poor tomorrow when we face them, as they shoot 59% and hitting 6 of 12 trays in the upset win against Syracuse in the Carrier Dome. So they're capable, but then they shoot 38% in a 79-51 home loss against Louisville. They dropped the home non-conference game to Gardner-Webb. And so they are scrappy, as Tom's describing. They are tough that way. I mean, they'll fight you, and if you give them a reason to believe, they'll hang around. They've got enough talent.
I think it's more of a threat when we go travel up there, but still, I mean, you have to show up and play. Up there in their building, they held Virginia Tech to 52. Virginia Tech is quite a gifted team offensively speaking, so they have that effort in them. But one thing I would say about their matchup zone is their leading rebounder is James Banks, and James Banks is only 6'8". So I would think, there are times when Kumaje is completely ineffective, and then there are times where you feel like the matchup is pretty good for us. This might be one of those. Check the first 5-10 minutes of the game. If they can feed it into Kumaje, matchup zone or no matchup zone, if he starts out making a couple of baskets, you don't have to make all of them like he did when we started against Miami.
But
on
I
Sunday.
like that. I prefer that version, by the way, Tom.
Me too. But if you can get a couple of quick baskets from Chris Kumaje, then you're going to steal more minutes and allow yourself a better chance to win this game.
If you're looking at Florida State big picture here, you got to win this game. It's not a must-win, but it's an important game because it's a game you should win. And when you look at seeding and aspirations of making the NCAA tournament, of the 11 remaining ACC games on our schedule, 6 of them will be against teams currently behind the Noles in the standings, and with the exception of the Clemson Road game. You're looking now, the games that are gettable, I guess, Tom, is what you start to look at, right?
Yeah.
The ones you circle, this is that one, right? This is an easy one. You say, okay, they got to win this one.
Well, this is one you have to have. If you look at a 5-game pack of what we got coming up, we host Georgia Tech tomorrow. You should have that. On the road at Syracuse, that's really tough. I guess the good news is you'll see zone defense tomorrow. You'll see zone defense on the road, so we'll be prepared for it. But we come back, we host Louisville. I know we have 3 losses in 46 games here at the TLCCC. That Louisville team looks to be peaking, and they're getting more scary as the season goes along. So that's not quite an assured victory. Then you host Wake, and you go back to Georgia Tech. So you can get very easily, if you take care of business, 3 out of these 5 games.
Without question. And I was about to go through those. I was saying with the exception of that Clemson Road game, when you look ahead, 5 of these games coming up are games that Florida State has a chance to, at least if you think about the 2 games versus Wake Forest, the 2 games versus Georgia Tech, anytime you see those 2 teams' names on your schedule, you say, you got to win 3 of 4, if not 4 of 4 in that situation. This is one of those teams. And so I'm counting victories. I'm just trying to count to 9. I know we could amass more than that. The schedule does allow for it. But can you get me to 9 when we were 1 and 4, Tom?
Right.
This was the discussion.
Well, you play it that way, right? We're at 3 wins currently in the conference.
3 and 4. We get a 4 and 4 with a win tomorrow. You get to 500. So, now you got to get me 5 more wins.
Right. I'll do it this way. So you're playing Georgia Tech twice and Wake twice. You want 3 of those at minimum. So let's just say you get 3. So now you got to find 3 more wins. You're hosting Louisville. You're on the road at Clemson. It's not quite the Clemson teams at the Little John of years past.
You're going to lose that game, I have a feeling.
Okay. Travel to North Carolina? No.
Nope.
You host Notre Dame. Feel pretty good about that.
Feel real good about that.
Okay, so there's one
down
right
to 2
there.
more wins.
And you've got NC State and Virginia Tech, both here at home late in the season.
That Virginia Tech team's tough, man. I worry about that game, but okay.
So somewhere in there, you got to find another win.
Well, and listen, you can win against some of the better teams on that schedule. First of all, Louisville could lose here. And by the way, we're going to talk about this. It's a big-ass game because there'll be a certain guy in town that you're going to want to impress. And I have a suspicion that, there are, as is always the case, there are teams on the schedule that maybe from a ranking standpoint or what they've proven up to this point, you wouldn't necessarily etch a win in against that Florida State will beat. But the same is true of the opposite, which is that somebody you assume you're going to get a win against, you're going to falter against. So I guess it's a long-winded way of saying don't lose to Georgia Tech tomorrow. I mean, come on. If you're good and you play hard, and this team usually does play hard, you should win the game. And when I say if you're good, I mean, I guess I was referring to health.
Yeah, give yourself a chance on Tuesday to let the chips fall where they may, rather than feel the desperation, the up against it feeling of having to go get that one to even out a disappointing loss at home to Georgia Tech. Yes.
So this is all about health, and there are a lot of things beyond the box score that I'm going to be looking for tomorrow. And it's such a maddening aspect of following this team this season. You just don't really know how well off they are any given night. It stands to reason from an injury standpoint that they should probably look fresh, look energized, look healthier than they've looked in a while, because this was the stretch of the schedule where they really had it easy. It's the road game against Miami and a bunch of rest followed by a home game against Georgia Tech. I mean, if you're going to look healthy and spry and ready to play, I mean, it's those two games. You don't know what you're going to get the rest of the way, but when you get that much time off, you got to hope that those guys that have been hobbled, Terrence Mann, Trent Forrest, we know is going to be hurt all year long. He needs off-season work done. There's nothing that can happen there. But Phil Kofor, another one, you kind of, okay, going to get your legs back.
Well, we're glad he's playing because last time, or last week at this time, I should say, we were saying, man, if he doesn't play by the Georgia Tech game, then he's not going to play at all. It ends up that he plays at Miami at least a little bit. That's a good sign.
Yeah, real good sign. I wasn't sure. Yeah, I was of the mindset we might not see him again. So what if he comes out and drops 20? Everything changes. All of a sudden, we'll have another conversation on
it's like the confidence percentage goes from 36 to 63. It just flips right on its head.
11 games, Tom. Like I said before, we're going to be golden, baby. Jeff Cameron, Show 97.9 ESPN Radio.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
97.9 ESPN Radio. Westwood One's presentation of Super Bowl 53, brought to you locally by Liberty Tax of Tallahassee, the law office of Jose Fernandez, and by Truck and Car Concepts.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. Look around. That's right, you see Nissans everywhere. Tallahassee is officially a Nissan town, a Kraft Nissan town. Why? Because Kraft Nissan has the best pricing, the best selection, and the best buying experience in town. And at Kraft Nissan, you get the best value for your dollar with more standard features, our exclusive and the original lifetime warranty, our easy choice menu that gives you a price and payment in writing, our new For You program that helps people with damaged credit. And now, till the end of the month, 2 years or 20,000 miles of complimentary maintenance with every new car purchase, plus $1,000 over book value for your trade. Best of all, my people are the best in the business. They will greet you with a smile and a handshake, and they will know your time is valuable. My managers are always accessible, and of course, you can always ask for me or my brother Peter. Bottom line, if you need a new or pre-owned car, you need to experience the Kraft difference. Great people, great product, great price, with the best car buying experience in town. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. And remember, if you don't see the Kraft tag on your car, you paid too much, way too much.
What's up, Eddie?
What's up, Jeff?
You know, buddy, that I like archaeology, right?
Yeah. I'm quite an anarchist myself.
Right. Well, anyhow, do you know what they find the world over when they excavate? You know the item they find the most of?
I don't know, rocks?
Freaking bowls.
Bowls?
Bowls everywhere. In Rome proper, right? Bowls upon bowls upon bowls.
That's very interesting.
What's the high school over in Jacksonville, the one with all the good football players?
Bowls?
Right.
What are you getting at here, Jeff?
Mo used what to cut his hair?
I don't know, Jeff. What is a bowl?
Boom. A bowl indeed.
Hey, that gives me an idea.
Really?
We should have bowls here at Gordo's. We can do all kinds of bowls. We can do chicken bowls, fish bowls. We can do steak bowls, pork bowls, veggie bowls. Brilliant. I'm a genius. Jeff? Hey, Jeff.
With the Bloomberg Business of Sports Report, I'm Michael Barr. Super Bowl Sunday. It's an American tradition, even if one's just there for the halftime show. According to the National Retail Federation, total spending on everything from food to jerseys to decorations for the big game is expected to hit $14.8 billion, down from last year's $15.3 billion, but still the third highest on record. Average spending among U.S. adults will be $81.30. An Australian rugby league team wants to continue Huawei's longest-ever sports sponsorship, despite the Chinese communication giant's ban from Australia's 5G networks and legal wrangling with the United States. Huawei has been the major sponsor of the Canberra Raiders, Canberra's only team in the National Rugby League since 2012, and will consider this year extending its first sponsorship contract with a sports team anywhere in the world. And that is a Bloomberg Business of Sports report. I'm Michael Barr.
Imagining a better bank starts with looking at the savings rates most banks offer and saying, really? Capital One is building something better. You can open a Capital One savings account with one of the nation's best savings rates from anywhere. Or here.
Or here!
One of the nation's best savings rates. Opened online, at a Capital One location, or from anywhere. That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
For consumers only. Offered by Capital One N.A. member FDIC. Copyright 2018 Capital One.
Liberty Mutual Insurance knows you're focusing on the road right now, so we'll just describe our newspaper print ad to you. It's a tiny square that's colored a newspaper shade of gray that has you thinking yellow. As the words read, Liberty Mutual customizes your insurance so you only pay for what you need. Now that's the kind of print ad that'll make you glad you still read newspapers.
Go to libertymutual.com for a customized quote and you could save.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Equal housing insurer.
You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
That is MyPillow is available to you right now, mypillow.com. If you go there, you get that pillow plus 2 Go Anywhere pillows. So you get 4 pillows in total, actually. It's 2 MyPillows, 2 Go Anywhere pillows. And the shipping is free. That's a good thing. Money back guarantee goes through the end of March. That's a real good thing, too. And I got to tell you, I like these pillows. That's why I talk about them. But you can wash them and you can dry them, and they're made right here in the USA, and you fall asleep faster, and all those are greatly beneficial, of course. But that free shipping, man, that's where it's at, right? 4 of these bad boys. MyPillow.com. Use the promo code. Got to use the promo code 979ESPN. That's promo code 979ESPN. Again, the webpage, MyPillow.com. Get you a comfortable pillow today. Stop messing around. Stop waiting. Good stuff. Sleep easy on those MyPillows.
Don't wait. Don't hesitate.
Don't procrastinate. So Plumlee, Griffin, no, is not coming in. I guess canceling his visit. Is that right? Do I have him right? He's the kid.
The tailback. That was,
yeah. Jay Ward, Travis J, Ira Henry. I guess
Ira Henry's coming back.
No, I don't think so. I just threw that.
That would be phenomenal.
I threw that in there just to get
see
you
if I'm
excited.
awake.
Yeah.
Well, you say the name Ira Henry these days. Yes.
I think the Kamar Bell kid is heading up to Indiana. You're not going to Indiana. Why are you visiting Indiana? No, I don't begrudge you that. I'm not one of these guys. If you got to visit, go take your visit, baby. I know there's a big debate, by the way, amongst recruitniks and people that cover recruiting about what's considered to be on the up and up, Tom, when it comes to these rules of recruiting and visits and pulling scholarships on people or offers from people, not scholarships, but offers, if they go take these visits. I don't know, man. I don't know where I stand on that.
Oh, I think the university is absolutely correct to pull an offer because kids don't use the word committed correctly anyway. So
that is
fine.
correct. Now, what if a kid says, I think you got to go case by case. The way I view it is case by case. Now, maybe you could get burned doing that. I agree. But it's like, if I've got 3 kids that I'm in love with at a position, and they're all elite, and I feel like we can't go wrong at linebacker with this kid, or this kid, and I got one of them that says, I'm in, man, I'm not going anywhere. Yeah, I'm telling the other 2, look, it's your right, but we're done here. If that's going to be the case, I'm going to have to move it on down the road because I can't be wasting my time.
Yeah.
and expending energy and effort if I've got a unsure thing.
Yes,
here.
if you've only got one spot.
One
yes.
spot. That's what I mean. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I should have said.
Well, that happens all the time, though.
Right.
Recruiters will
I've
say,
only got one spot. Yes.
Yeah,
I
first
needed
one
to clarify that.
yeah.
First one of you guys that say yay. Other two, peace out. Sorry. It's the way it's got to work. I mean, we only have one spot. You're right. Now, if you've got multiple spots, that's a little bit different game. But also, I want to get a vibe. I got to know what my relationship with you is. If Kamar Bell is coming to Florida State, I'm just using it as a hypothetical. He could go to Auburn. I understand. But let's say he's, I like it here, Coach. I feel real good about it. But, I've got these other visits, and I promised my parents I'd take all my visits. And, I'm going to go up to Indiana this weekend and see their campus. It's maybe the only time I ever get the opportunity to do this. All right, Kamar. He says that same thing, and he's talking about Clemson. Well, Kamar, I'm sorry, but, these spots are limited.
Indiana is about the best place that you could have somebody go.
Because there's no way you're going to Indiana, man. It's freezing freaking cold there. I've been to Bloomington. You can talk about how quaint it is. Screw IU. You're not going to play football there.
Well, and if you're neck and neck with Auburn, this beats him going to Auburn for an unofficial.
Absolutely.
Let me pop on in on my dime.
You're done. You're done then.
Yeah.
No. Then you'd be like, well, we lost him. Yeah. Indiana, sure. Yeah, go to Indiana.
And you were just here. So, if it was us, then Auburn, then Indiana, I'd say, uh-oh, that's not good. Because then essentially they got the last visit. But in our case, we got the last visit.
Have you watched, this sounds weird, but have you watched the quarterbacks? Have you looked at the two? Have you looked at the Plumlee kid? And have you, Lejeune?
Well, I won't look at Lejeune until he's in the system. Not just about the
like
LOI.
Qualified.
I want to make sure he's qualified. I don't even want to, because what if the film, I really like it, and I say, awesome.
I'm in love with this kid. He's perfect for what we're trying to do here.
Now, if Plumlee signs, I'll look at it right away when he signs, but you've got to do some work this weekend. The Florida State coaching staff does to beat out Ole Miss, I think, is the one that people are favoring right now.
It's also junior day for the 2020 kids, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, junior day.
Multitasking going on.
Crazy going on over there. That's, again, I say it all the time, man. I know it's part of the responsibility when you're in that profession, but golly, catering to kids that aren't even going to be here for 2 years.
I wonder, though, so if some of the kids that are in for the official visit come to junior day camp, they could see, if they haven't before, the coaching style of who their position coach would be. So it might be a chance to put that on display for the kid.
Oh, there are probably multiple benefits to these guys. I would think, golly, I'm really trying to procure the services of some really important offensive linemen here, and I got to bother myself with this 2020 junior.
I need to get these 3 stars
I gotta get
in my signing class.
I got to get these kids.
I need these 3 stars.
In a way I never thought I would, but I do. And you need what? Yeah, I mean, that's tough. But at the same time, obviously you have your eyes on bigger fries.
But you didn't get, I'm sorry, son, you did not get your FSU-issued water bottle that came with signing up for our junior day program. You know what? I understand that you're going to have a long career in Macon playing for Mercer. But you know what? I'm going to stick with this 3-star kid and worry about his needs. But somebody else will get you your water bottle.
Yeah, and I don't pretend to know the depth and quality of all these juniors by any means, but I've had a few birdies whisper in my ear here that the Jeff Sims kid is talented. The quarterback that's going to be in town.
Oh, no. We're not doing this. You are not getting in on the 2020 recruiting class.
I know a few of them. I know a few guys.
Oh, my God.
This is how deep the mistrust is. Those waters run deep, Tom. I told you on yesterday's
You cannot
program.
see the bottom.
I need to feel like I have better footing. Better footing is necessary.
You are scouting 22. This is.
I'm not scouting nothing. I place calls, Tom. I'm talking to people. I'm asking them about folks, and the kid's name keeps coming up is all I'm saying. And I remembered it. Jeff Sims is his name.
If AM Dial Jeff Cameron could talk to you right now, he would be so disappointed.
Listen, desperate times, Tom. We weren't 5-7 when Jeff Cameron AM Dial lived. No, sir.
He'd say, have a dip. It's going to be okay.
Yeah. That AM Dial guy was dipping on the reg. It would have been, I had one in right now. I would have said, it's okay. I already got one. We're good. And after a 5-7 season, there would have been one permanently etched.
Well, that's what you tell AM Dial Jeff Cameron. You think it's bad now, huh?
Yeah.
You think it's bad.
You think this lost decade stuff is hurting you? Where do you get a load of no bowl? Incompetence everywhere you look. You don't judge me. You don't judge FM Dial, Jeff.
That's a good point, brother.
It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Are you ready to experience an awesome fishing expedition? Sea Quarters Marina is home to several great charter services. All charters are customized based upon the types of fishing opportunities available and the type of fishing the customer requests. The Northwest Gulf Coast offers a variety of different angling adventures thanks to unspoiled back county islands and crystal clear flats. For more information regarding charters, call Sea Quarters Marina at 697-8400 or online at seaquartersmarina.com.
Do you have a son or daughter who has special needs age 14 or older? Register them today for Genesis Church's Night to Shine Prom, sponsored by the Tim Tebow Foundation at nighttoshinetally.com. The 5th annual community-wide event being hosted by Genesis Church at the center of Tallahassee on February 8th from 5 to 9 p.m. Every guest with special needs will be given the true VIP treatment, including a red carpet entrance, complete with limousine rides, paparazzi, hair and makeup done by Aveda and Cabellos, flowers, shoe shines, food, karaoke, and dancing. At the end of the night, all of our guests will be named kings and queens of the prom. Register your guest or volunteer today at nighttoshinetally.com. That's nighttoshinetally.com.
Get excited, Whataburger fans. Our one-of-a-kind mushroom Swiss burger is back.
If you love mushrooms, you're going to love this burger.
2 patties, 2 slices of Swiss cheese, 2 layers of mushrooms. These mushrooms are beautiful.
It's a really good balance between hearty and savory. That au jus sauce on top.
The creamy au jus sauce. It really sets it apart.
Just adds flavor that makes you go, wow. It is just absolutely amazing.
It's not just a mushroom Swiss burger, it's a Whataburger mushroom Swiss burger. Here for a limited time.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
Recently, I've seen a lot of commercials from attorneys and public adjusters trying to cash in on the hurricane damages to your home or business. Using these individuals could result in a reduction in your insurance claim reimbursement. As a licensed roofing and general contractor, we know how to navigate insurance claims so that you don't have to share your reimbursement with an attorney or a public adjuster. If you have questions, give us a call. Our advice is free. Turning your claim over to an attorney or a public adjuster is not.
Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Stan, I got a great Luis Castillo story for you because he'd get on team flights and forget to bring his clothes, and the cultural transfer was so difficult that he once set off a fire alarm in a hotel because he thought it was a shampoo dispenser. And one time during that hitting streak, a lot of people were talking to him and asking him questions, and he didn't know anything about baseball history, nothing at all. So they're in St. Louis, right? They're telling him about Lou Brock, and he's got no knowledge whatsoever of Lou Brock. But later, he was introduced to somebody, and as he's shaking that person's hand, they say to him, "Do you know who this is?" And he says, "Lou Brock. It was Stan Musial."
People have confused them in the past.
The Dan Le Batard Show, weekdays at 10 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm John Brickley at this hour on Sports Center with the NBA deadline approaching February 7th. The Knicks making headlines Thursday with the trade of Kristaps Porzingis to the Mavericks, leaving the opportunity for New York to sign 2 marquee free agents to max deals. But according to First Take's Max Kellerman, the Knicks franchise just doesn't get it.
The Knicks have behaved like a bum franchise for decades now. The Knicks, to argue now, Stephen A., that they needed to create cap space Hey, geniuses, we've known this free agent crop has been amazing for years now. A good franchise doesn't dig themselves cap holes, doesn't acquire cap problems heading into this year. They've cleared the decks, so you have Kristaps Porzingis and cap space. Every other franchise would do that.
The Knicks with a prime chance to sign one of the top free agents this summer, notably Kyrie Irving.
I mean, well, at the end of the day, I'm going to do what I feel is best for my career. And, you know, that's just where it stands. And my focus this season is winning the championship with the Boston Celtics. You know, obviously we had goals coming into this season, and the primary goal is to win championships. So that's where my focus is.
Has your mindset shifted, though, in regards to re-signing with Boston, like the announcement?
Ask me July 1st.
Celtics and Knicks in Game 1 of an NBA doubleheader tonight on ESPN, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. That'll be followed by the Rockets and the Nuggets. James Harden, 24 straight games of at least 30 points scored. NFL Saints quarterback Drew Brees directing his frustration at Commissioner Roger Goodell for his silence on the officiating era in the NFC title game, adding Goodell has the responsibility to come out and address issues when they arise. Panthers defensive end Julius Peppers announces his retirement after 17 seasons. Peppers was 4th all-time in career sacks.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Libations Friday, brought to you by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachie Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
NFL was pretty smart here. Interesting article today in the Wall Street Journal about the conspicuous absence of Roger Goodell by and large for this entire season. Now, a lot of people have obviously skewered him for how long it took him to make a statement surrounding the Rams-Saints game. I didn't. I don't really know what there was to say. I think some things are so self-evident that they need not be commented on, especially by a guy who routinely steps all over himself when making public statements regarding issues in the NFL.
Well, that notwithstanding, it's not his department. I mean, and what's he going to rule? You know, is he going to say, well, let's do it over?
Well, yeah, you're never going to play the game over again. That's nonsense, by the way. Why have we heard that so frequently since that play happened? That's never happened. It's never going to happen. It never should happen. There are countless plays in that game that helped decide the outcome, not just that play. That play was crucial, devastatingly poor decision or no decision in terms of not throwing the flag. It is incompetence. You can fine, you can fire, you can do lots of things, but you're not replaying the game. That's nuts. I mean, there are plays in the second quarter that officials missed that actually you could argue are more significant to the outcome of the game than any other play that you monitor throughout the rest of the game. They don't go back and play the game again. It's built into the fabric of the game that human beings are making mistakes.
Well, Saints fans are a little hard to deal with, though. It's amazing how quickly they went from underdog story to, man, oh, man, you guys think you run stuff around here?
I mean, nuts.
Listen, I don't want to have to do this, but you know who runs stuff? The Patriots. So, you know, if you're looking for an overlord in the league, it would be the Patriot fan. Not that I like that guy either, but let's pump the brakes a little bit, New Orleans.
As this year's Super Bowl between the Rams and Patriots arrives, everything has changed. Ratings shot back up from being down a year ago, even more so in the playoffs, quieting concerns about the league's future. Exciting play on the field produced new stars and captivated fans. Goodell, frequently at the center of attention, decided, not going to show my face around these parts very often, and now we talk about Patrick Mahomes instead, right? We talk about the players, the guys deciding the games, the excitement that is the future of football. Quote, and I like this because they realized it's adding toxicity to issues when a buffoon who is frequently on the wrong end of PR decisions that have left us all absolutely stumped over the years. See Ray Rice on down the line.
You made it an issue out of nothing in some cases.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't even have to say a word.
Yeah, now that you have, we got problems.
Dude.
Quote, the fans really don't care about the noise in our situation or the different tension points with management, said Robert Kraft. They're here to focus on the games. The owners talk specifically about getting out of the way of the game. Yeah. Quote, we're having way too many stories the last few years written that were unrelated to the game, said one team exec. That part was something that was discussed at length. Goodell's diminished visibility has been stark. He's rarely spoken publicly this year, with the exception during the annual news conference at the Super Bowl this week. He pocket vetoed a short-lived new national anthem policy. He swiftly but quietly acted when video surfaced of a star player attacking a woman. He remained mum for over a week in the face of the howls of the blown call. The results this season suggest that more football and less Goodell is an overwhelmingly positive thing. Well, I would say that's true. Up by 9% are the ratings. They rose by 5% during the regular season. Postseason rankings are up 9%. I have a feeling that has nothing to do with the lack of Goodell and the fact that, well, we got 2 overtime games in the AFC and NFC championships. And those were good matchups, too.
Massive numbers. Yes, and I think it also helps what leads in, right? What leads into that weekend, which was good football in those games as well. The playoffs have been fun. Wild card weekend was great. Divisional weekend wasn't as good, but it was still wholly entertaining. And you had the regular season before it. That was fantastic. So people were more interested when the playoffs began. I think they brought in more fans. I think they achieved their goal. The rules changes have led to a ridiculous rise in scoring. And I think that has impacted the popularity of the game. They had 73 games, and I think this is on purpose, the way that it's called, and it drives me nuts. And if you're hardcore and you've been around the block and you've seen some football in your time, you know that it's being engineered this way. I'm not saying fixed, but by enforcing the rules the way they do on defensive players, you're guaranteeing a lot of drives killed being saved while a penalty is called to bail out the moment. Defensive holding.
Yeah, defensive holding
is
the number one thing. So 73 games finished within 3 points. That's the most in the NFL's history. They're getting what they want.
Well, they're getting what they want, but I think a lot of people, it's like me with the NBA these days, given that you can kind of figure at least one finals team, if not both, year to year, right? So that devalues the regular season. I don't care. With the NFL, the problem that they had in the regular season was a lot of it was boring. A lot of it was boring football that was over-legislated, and it wasn't all that interesting. There wasn't enough offense. There wasn't enough razzle-dazzle the way the casual fan likes it. Whether or not we agree with it, the casual fan does tune in more when more points are scored. That's just true.
It's just like when home runs were being hit during the juice ball era. Yes.
So that happened this year. There were a ton more points scored, but then also I think they did a great job of making sure that Monday Night Football and Thursday Night Football had more good games than they've had in the past.
It's always been something that we've argued, like, why can't you have these on flex? What are we doing? I understand the rigidity of schedules in the NFL and creatures of habit, but no, man, if it's readily apparent these two teams are terrible, what are you going to get? Terrible football.
Right. But so when you have overall more entertaining games, more close games, more high-scoring games, that leads to more entertainment, right, across all time slots. That's one thing that's good. And then Monday night, you give at least 3 or 4 times a year versus 0 to 1. It's a must-see game, kind of like Kansas City and the LA Rams was. That's the first one that comes to mind. Thursday night had about 3 or 4 really good games and another 3 or 4 that, hey, man, if you're an NFL fan, you're going to tune in. So now they're doing exactly what they set out to do originally, which was I have to see the next game because the NFL in general is just that much more entertaining. So by the time you get to the playoffs, you care. You care about teams that aren't your own anymore. They did a really effective job of that.
They did, and I don't think that it's a rare instance where I'll defend Roger Goodell. I don't know that there's a lot Roger Goodell. Okay, so it's evident that whenever he bothers to speak on any issue, he's going to get railed because they seldom get it right. And these issues are oftentimes nuanced. It's not so black and white. It's not so easy to decide certain policies within the league. How long is a guy suspended for a domestic violence accusation? There are legal elements to that argument. There is, the eventual right to work. There's the police investigation. There are a lot of things. So whenever Goodell got up there, I always felt like he could only lose, really. He can't take a hardline stance like everybody clamors for him to do because there are legal aspects to that. And he can't do nothing because it looks like he's turning his head to a real problem in this country. And obviously with the attention being turned to violence against women and, any number of other things that we've talked about over the last couple of years, he couldn't afford not to address it. And I always thought, man, that's a tough position to be in, and that he needed to be better versed, more well-versed before taking to the dais. But now he's being ripped for not doing those kinds of things, that he's in the background while the sport's popularity rises, and he deflects away from the attention of kneeling players or whatever it might be, right?
Yeah, he gets credit for reacting finally and getting it right. You know, once he power played Jerry Jones a little bit and kept his job because Jerry was hell-bent on getting him fired. Remember when we read that story and that history of the two of them as they both rose to prominence in both the owner's room when it was just the 32 of them, and then Roger Goodell within the NFL league offices and how they helped each other up that ladder. Then it became a blood feud, and Jerry tried to power play his way to get Goodell out of there because of the suspension to Zeke Elliott. Well, that didn't happen. Maybe Roger, when he got his extension, was told, hey, man, if you want to talk a little less,
that'd be good.
Then the next extension that comes up in a few years when we have league revenue go through the roof will be a lot easier to sign instead of played out before the world's eyes.
Well, and people got angry, and what I was saying is that he can't win for losing. Benjamin Watson, Saints tight end, posted, amongst many other players there, of course, continued silence on this matter is unbecoming to the position you hold, detrimental to the integrity of the game, and disrespectful and dismissive to football fans everywhere. Well, what was he supposed to say?
Now, the next thing they need to gear up for is the work stoppage potential in the next, whatever it is, 2-3 years. That they've got a CBA up and the NFL Players Association
probably
has more teeth now. Yeah. One would think, or at least I would think the owners have to concede quite a bit. The sport is too big now for guaranteed contracts not to be at least more in play than they are.
They've come so far on that level, though. Man, I used to think to myself all the time, no group of players gets screwed more by ownership in that league than NFL players. I mean, the brutality of that sport and to not have guaranteed contracts, well, you look around at every other major league and think, what in the world?
But it's still by far the weakest union among the big four.
Yeah. Yeah. If DeMaurice Smith is still the guy, I'm going to guess that changes radically at the next CBA debate, right? I'm imagining that they're gearing up, or at least they should be, to aggressively shift where that power lies. And I'm sure the league realizes that. That's the other reason, though, that I don't know that you want Roger Goodell heading your organization, no matter how quiet he's become and how far in the background he sits. He's proven himself incompetent in crucial moments every time he does speak. So, that part was easy, but now we're going to be going into serious negotiations.
It's a different thing, though. Yes, you have to grandstand before the world.
You got to talk and make your case. Yeah.
But if it comes to financials and negotiations, that's a different skill set altogether.
Yes, it is.
Maybe he has it. I don't know. He might have it, he might not.
You certainly could hire somebody who does. That's what you do.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, you bring in your contract lawyers and all that, and maybe he does have it. Maybe I'm not giving him the benefit of the doubt.
I'm just trying to figure out. He must be good at something to be there.
Acquiescent to owners. That's all I can say.
I had a wrong aim.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men on a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Home for the biggest game of the year.
Zero's on the clock. It's over. The Eagles have beaten the New England Patriots.
Super Bowl 53 is on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Westwood One's presentation of Super Bowl 53, brought to you locally by Tasty Pastry and by Whitton Glass.
Hey, Seminole fans, the weather's still chilly, but the prices are hot, hot, hot during the winter clearance event happening now at Garnet & Gold. For a limited time only, take an unbelievable 40% off regular priced Florida State outerwear, including jackets, sweats, and long sleeve tees. And take an additional 30% off all clearance items. Save big time during the winter clearance event on now at all 3 Garnet & Gold locations, West Pensacola Street, Killarn, and our flagship store on Governor Square Boulevard. If you're a Seminole, we're your store. Shop local and go Noles.
Dust off your cleats. It's time again to hit the field. The registration deadline for the City of Tallahassee Parks, Recreation, and Neighborhood Affairs Department's Spring Adult and Youth Sports Leagues is quickly approaching. Youth 4 to 18 can participate in softball and baseball, and adults 18 years of age and older can sign up a team to participate in softball and flag football. Spots are limited, so be sure to sign up before February 6th to guarantee your spot and to avoid penalties. Visit talgov.com today to see how you or your child can join in on the fun.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
Recently, I've seen a lot of commercials from attorneys and public adjusters trying to cash in on the hurricane damages to your home or business. Using these individuals could result in a reduction in your insurance claim reimbursement. As a licensed roofing and general contractor, we know how to navigate insurance claims so that you don't have to share your reimbursement with an attorney or a public adjuster. If you have questions, give us a call. Our advice is free. Turning your claim over to an attorney or a public adjuster is not.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
What's up, Eddie?
What's up, Jeff?
You know, buddy, that I like archaeology, right?
Yeah. I'm quite an anarchist myself.
Right. Well, anyhow, do you know what they find the world over when they excavate? You know the item they find the most of?
I don't know, rocks?
Freaking bowls.
Bowls?
Bowls everywhere. In Rome proper, right? Bowls upon bowls upon bowls.
That's very interesting.
What's the high school over in Jacksonville, the one with all the good football players?
Bowls?
Right.
What are you getting at here, Jeff?
Mo used what to cut his hair?
I don't know, Jeff. What is a bowl?
Boom. A bowl indeed.
Hey, that gives me an idea.
Really?
We should have bowls here at Gordo's. We can do all kinds of bowls. We can do chicken bowls, fish bowls. We can do steak bowls, pork bowls, veggie bowls. Brilliant. I'm a genius. Jeff? Hey, Jeff.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. Look around. That's right, you see Nissans everywhere. Tallahassee is officially a Nissan town, a Kraft Nissan town. Why? Because Kraft Nissan has the best pricing, the best selection, and the best buying experience in town. And at Kraft Nissan, you get the best value for your dollar. With more standard features, our exclusive and the original lifetime warranty, our easy choice menu that gives you a price and payment in writing, our new For You program that helps people with damaged credit. And now, till the end of the month, 2 years or 20,000 miles of complimentary maintenance with every new car purchase, plus $1,000 over book value for your trade. Best of all, my people are the best in the business. They will greet you with a smile and a handshake, and they will know your time is valuable. My managers are always accessible, and of course, you can always ask for me or my brother Peter. Bottom line, if you need a new or pre-owned car, you need to experience the Kraft difference. Great people, great product, great price, with the best car buying experience in town. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. And remember, if you don't see the Kraft tag on your car, you paid too much, way too much.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
I know it's a little bit early, Tom, and we haven't started the game yet, but we may have to do it. In the latest 2019 NFL mock draft, there's been a trade.
A draft analyst for ESPN dropped him on a make-believe website page.
That's going to be the measurables that ultimately determine where Manziel goes in May. Right now, he does not belong in the top 25. If he beats Alabama again, everybody's going to say, oh, boy, move him up. No.
Your number one. Who does Houston take?
I'm going to go with Johnny Manziel. He's going in the top 5 somewhere. Hey, what's wrong with number one? Johnny Manziel is a magician on the field. If he eats, sleeps, and drinks football 365 days a year, to me, he can be a very good to great player in the NFL.
Draft analysis.
Well, and we've got some breaking news. This one belongs to Chris Trapazzo of CBS. We got to make sure we identify everybody when they alert us to trades, Tom. This is breaking news. We need to know about these trades. These fake trades are very important.
Cristobal Trapazzo.
There we go. He's got us, now listen, he's laid it out there. And he wants you to know that Montez Sweat has moved into his top 5, and it looks like Washington is desperate to make a trade. It's Dungeons and Dragons.
That's not what you do.
That's
not what you do.
Do you have a read on Washington? Because I don't. It's hard to hammer down what the true direction of the franchise is going to be right now. And with Alex Smith unlikely to play in 2019 and no young, promising quarterback on the roster, will they make a move? Oh, it's good. Arizona, first pick, taking Josh Allen out of Kentucky. Lightning quick speed, 6'5", 260 pounds. Okay. All right. That's where they go. San Francisco going Nick Bosa out of Ohio State. Then it's the Jets. The Jets are taking Quinnen Williams, the defensive tackle out of Alabama. Then Montez.
Good pick.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So we get to the Buccaneers. Ed Oliver, defensive tackle, Houston.
No. That's what? The hell's wrong with you? See, he got me.
There are some talks, Tom, in league circles that Oliver's going to weigh in under 280 pounds at the combine, and that could drop him out of this top 5. But the Buccaneers could pick a defensive tackle in back-to-back drafts, with Gerald McCoy rumored to have already played his last down in Tampa Bay.
Even if McCoy had, you're telling me the most pressing need on this team is D-tackle? No.
Tom, now you're getting in the way here of a very solid effort in the draft by these teams who've done their homework much the way that this kid has, Chris has.
Cristobal Trapazzo.
And he wants you to know. Drew Lock's going to Jacksonville at 7. Greedy Williams, LSU, corner, going to Detroit at 8.
Oh, well.
But we're going to take him at 5, so that won't matter.
Are we?
Well, I don't know. And here's the big news. Washington, with a trade, they target Buffalo. Buffalo says yes. Washington moves into the top 10. Stirs up the draft forevermore. We'll remember this day as they move into the top 10 in order to draft Kyler Murray, Oklahoma.
Oh,
here it is. Hey, what a move, Washington.
Wow. Winners of the first round. Winners of Thursday night at the NFL Draft.
Trade. Decision at 15. Washington gets antsy, and they'll move into the top 10 by trading with Buffalo, ahead of Denver, Cincinnati, and the Dolphins. And that's when they'll swing for the fences and grab Kyler Murray. Woo! I don't blame Chris. Because you got to embrace this nonsense. If you're going to be tasked with the responsibility of writing this asinine article, and then somebody has to, and, obviously it's a push for clicks, so you go, listen, Chris, let's spruce it up a little bit, baby. And then Chris, and then
Frank Sinatra is his editor.
Yeah, of course, because it's ridiculous.
Let's spruce it up, baby.
Yeah, so
give me 1 and 2 trades on my desk in the next 20 minutes.
So Chris is like, really? What do you want me to do?
Make it toot sweet.
What do you want me to do here? So my man has to sit down and figure it out. And in that moment, he goes, I don't know, maybe Washington moves up in a trade. Yeah, that's what it is. They'll move up in a trade with Buffalo.
That's the ticket. Good stuff, baby. Keep it coming. You got something to you, kid.
If I were asked to do this, I'd have 17 trades in the first round. It would be pick followed by trade. Pick. There's been a trade. My entire first round. Why not? We're just making it up as we go along. What the hell do we care? Jeff, Jacksonville is not going to trade the 7 pick. Drew Lock is on the board. They need a quarterback. Why would they do that? I don't know, man. It just seems to me like Minnesota wants to move on up, so they're making a trade. My draft's far more interesting than your boring ass, let's stay put and grab our quarterback at 7 mock draft.
You're hired. You got something to you, baby. Keep it coming.
Oh, sure, Minnesota could sit down at 18 and draft offensive tackle Cody Ford. But what fun is there in that? Instead, I'm going trade into the top 7.
I love it. I love it. More.
The Bucs are trading out of the first round, Tom. They've decided they're out of here. They're going to get rid of the 5th pick.
You swept me off my feet at trade. Buccaneers.
Philadelphia,
clicks.
Trade.
Clicks.
Oakland, trade.
Give me the clicks.
Houston, trade.
More clicks, baby.
It's that time of year. I got to introduce it a little bit. Just a touch, just a little taste. We gave you a little bit of something. I'm just glad that these guys are ready to oblige. Well done, Chris Trapasso. The baby.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Bounce into a Liberty Tax by February 16th and we'll give you $50 cash for filing with us. Send in a friend and when they complete their return, we'll give you another $50. Stop by today or visit LibertyTax.com. Liberty Tax. You do life, we do taxes.
Located at 2210 North Monroe Street next to Chick-fil-A. Call 597-8248.
Wilson extends the hands he has. Wilson, quick throw. And it's good. Intercepted. Intercepted by Malcolm Butler. Butler has it at the 1. Malcolm Butler stepping in front of the throw.
For the first time, Tallahassee's sports monster is your home for the biggest game of the year.
Zero's on the clock. It's over. The Eagles have beaten the New England Patriots.
Super Bowl 53 is on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Westwood One's presentation of Super Bowl 53, brought to you locally by Liberty Tax of Tallahassee, the law office of Jose Fernandez, and by Truck and Car Concepts. Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios, this is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm John Brickley at this hour on Sports Center with the NBA deadline approaching February 7th. The Knicks making headlines Thursday with the trade of Kristaps Porzingis to the Mavericks, leaving the opportunity for New York to sign 2 marquee free agents to max deals. But according to First Take's Max Kellerman, the Knicks franchise just doesn't get it.
The Knicks have behaved like a bum franchise for decades now. The Knicks, to argue now, Stephen A., that they needed to create cap space. Hey, geniuses, we've known this free agent crop has been amazing for years now. A good franchise doesn't dig themselves cap holes, doesn't acquire cap problems heading into this year. They've cleared the decks, so you have Kristaps Porzingis and cap space. Every other franchise would do that.
The Knicks with a prime chance to sign one of the top free agents this summer, notably Kyrie Irving.
I mean, well, at the end of the day, I'm going to do what I feel is best for my career, and you know, that's just where it stands. And my focus this season is winning the championship with the Boston Celtics. You know, obviously we had goals coming into this season, and the primary goal is to win championships. So that's where my focus is.
Has your mindset shifted, though, in regards to re-signing with Boston, like the announcement?
Ask me July 1st.
Celtics and Knicks in Game 1 of an NBA doubleheader tonight on ESPN, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. That'll be followed by the Rockets and the Nuggets. James Harden, 24 straight games of at least 30 points scored. NFL Saints quarterback Drew Brees directing his frustration at Commissioner Roger Goodell for his silence on the officiating era in the NFC title game, adding Goodell has the responsibility to come out and address issues when they arise. Panthers defensive end Julius Peppers announces his retirement after 17 seasons. Peppers was 4th all-time in career sacks.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Libations Friday, brought to you by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachian Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio, and a fine Libations Friday to you and yours. Super Bowl weekend finally here, and away we go. By the way, we're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always, don't miss anything. If you do, we got you covered. All 3 hours posted upon the conclusion of the show, both to iTunes and in our own audio vault. You can also listen, don't forget this, on the WTSM app. It's free for your mobile devices. So if you're having problems with the signal for any reason, you're good to go with that WTSM app. As we're wont to do during the course of the season, our friend Lee Sterling, Paramount Sports, joins us now. And this is the time of year, Lee, first of all, good to talk to you again. Secondly, this is the time of year where you get the goofy bets and you can go props all day on these things. But there are some bets that are wiser than others to engage in and have some fun with and properly take advantage of Vegas, if you will. And that's why I always love talking to you this time of year, because you've already done the scouting for me, buddy.
Yeah. It took a long time. It took me about 3 days. 442 prop wagers.
Woo! 442.
Yeah.
That's too many.
That's a lot, huh?
Well, it's coin flip. That's everything from coin flips to obviously.
It took me 3 days to get through them all.
Good Lord, 442. All right, what was the one that jumped off the page at you and you thought, not that you were going to win, but you thought, really? We're doing that?
Probably the craziest one, probably this year with the guy, Ted Rath, the director of strength and performance. How many times will he be mentioned? That was 3.5.
Oh, wow. That is interesting. Okay.
But here's the thing that I've noticed about those. Usually when they mention someone like that, or let's say when Eli Manning's in the game, will they show or talk about Peyton Manning? Things like that, they usually go under. And a lot of them, they put real low numbers. Like I remember one of the years, people were like, oh, like this is free money. How many times will they talk or show Peyton Manning and Eli was in the game? It was 1.5. Only talked about him once. That was it.
Yeah. Well,
usually go under.
So you just bet under on the weird props about people's names and or if they're going to be shown on camera. Let's go through these and pick some ones that you like the most in terms of player props and overall props. Fire away, buddy.
Well, let's go with some player props first. And I think the biggest mistake here, the one mistake I just kept checking over and over at a bunch of my different offshore sites, was how many interceptions will Jared Goff throw? And I had set the number at 1.5. And what did they do? They had it at 0.5. So I'm going over. So I think that's the one big mistake. Also, longest field goal, I'm going to go with Lance Zierlein, kicker for the Rams. He's minus 115. James White, running back for New England. How many receiving yards will he have? The number's 55.5. Here's a guy, he might have 8, 10, 12 receptions in the game. I'm going over 55.5 receiving yards there. And everyone loves to play the first touchdown. That's usually everyone's excited. They're watching the commercials before people start wandering off and dipping into the heavy food. You can go with New England's Sony Michel 5-1, or L.A. Rams running back C.J. Anderson 7-1. I like to go with the long shots here. Philip Dorsett is 20-1, and here's a guy that you look at the Rams secondary, both cornerbacks. They've had some real problems here. You look at Marcus Peters. Seems like he's holding or grabbing on every play and gets beat. Aqib Talib, he's not the same guy from 2-3 years ago. Then on the other side, Jason McCourty. the cornerback for New England, he's susceptible to double moves. So give me Philip Dorsett at 20-1, and also for the Rams, it seems like every time they get in the red zone, like to look at Taylor Higbee. He's 20-1 also. So if I hit on Philip Dorsett or Taylor Higbee, I bet both of those two. We probably won't be doing a March Madness segment. I'll bought a yacht and I'll be circling all the islands for about 5 or 6 months.
Well done. Do I get an invite? Like even for just a few days? Okay. Cool.
I am going to tell you. I'm going to give you a heads up on this. Okay, so I'm going to give you heads up on this one here. I am going to have a Super Bowl party next year at my house, either Wednesday or Thursday night. So you want to come and stay with your buddy?
Okay.
For the week, you want to try to get down for Radio Row, get a sponsor, get that done. So there will be a big shindig on my basketball court Wednesday or Thursday night. A lot of seafood and a ton of booze. Don't drive. You'll be taking an Uber to this party.
Oh, I'm loving it. I'm probably going to do it, buddy. There you go. Now you've already thrown it out there.
Year to plan. So I don't want to hear the wife, said we got this going on.
No.
You give her the heads up.
All right.
I'm heading down to Miami for the Super Bowl.
All right, perfect. That sounds good. Well, and it's you know what? I've got so many people down there that I'm near and dear to. There's no excuse for me not to be down there. I get a chance to visit everybody all in one fell swoop while doing my job.
We can start the Saturday or Sunday before the Super Bowl. Start by playing golf. You're a golfer, right?
Yeah, I am. I'd
I'd
like to
with a couple rounds of golf. And
well, make sure you tell your wife that you've got your week booked with me. So it just sounds like we're going to be out doing all kinds of things, buddy. We're golfing. We'll go to a concert or two.
Boy, wouldn't that be strange? A week with a Florida State fan. That'd be tough. Let's just take it. Let's just do maybe Saturday or Sunday, and then the party.
All right,
okay,
fair enough. We'll just incrementally get through this. All right. Other props. Let's go. Anything else you're looking at? Those were player props. What else you got?
I like some of these fun props. There's some great ones this year. How about this one, Tony Romo? Well, how many plays will he correctly predict? The over/under 7.5. I love listening to Tony Romo. You like him?
I do. I think he does a fine job. I think he could be a little bit more refined, and that will come in time, but he does a very good job. And I like most of these ex-quarterbacks, if they still got their wits about them.
I'm not a fan of Troy Aikman, though.
No, I mean, he's been doing it a long time.
He's captain, obvious. He's mailing it in.
Yeah, he's mailing it in now.
Give me the under, though. 7.5 is a lot of plays to call correctly.
It's the under,
National anthem. I have my expert, my daughter. She helps me with that. She sung a bunch. So she went to YouTube, and she said there's only one video up of Gladys Knight, who's from Atlanta.
That's right. And
singing the national anthem. And it's a 1991 audio only, and she goes a minute 31, and it almost doesn't sound like her. I don't know if she was practicing it or
where that
doing
came
it at
from,
a birthday
right?
party. It was not good. But lately, she sounds tremendous. I listened to her at the Aretha Franklin funeral. She sounded amazing. She's going to be 75 in May, but I think, and she does too, my daughter, they're going to really play this thing out here, and they're going to take their time with it. She said go over the minute and 47. That's plus 120. She said it seems like free money.
Yeah, and you know what? I was reading yesterday 3 or 4 separate articles saying the exact same thing, and all of them ended with the phrase, feels like this might be easy money. I mean, everybody seems to think the over. It's like a no-brainer, right?
There's only been one shorter than a minute 47 in the last 10, so I'm going with the over there. And then they've even got some referee props here. 2 of them, this is the first. Will there be a roughing the passer penalty? I'm going with yes.
In this day and age, everything is.
I mean, and Tom Brady?
Yeah,
I mean,
they're trying to protect,
You just blowing through your helmet in his direction, they're going to call penalty there. So I'm going with yes there. And will any touchdown be overturned by replay? Now, I think because, both championship games were horrifically officiated.
Yes.
I think you're going to see them get it right. Maybe not that they're that great, but maybe the due to win theory. So, I'm going to say no, but you do have to wager 200 to win 100 on that one.
And do you? I know you don't give out in this segment every year your pick to win the game, but do you have anything on, say, the total?
Yeah, I like the over here. Alluded to the Rams' trouble with their linebackers in space, covering running backs. Also, both cornerbacks have some trouble in New England. Josh McCourty, he's got some trouble with those double moves. Patrick Chung, not great in space. And, I mean, there was plenty of games all season long where teams moved up and down the field on the Patriots. So I think we're going to see a high-scoring game. Wouldn't shock me if we see a 38-34, 38-31 game. I'll go with the over there, but my strongest play is going to be on the game on one of the sides. They want to get that. They can purchase the game, which we've won 7 of the last 10. And my top 10 prop plays, just $77. It's all available, ParamountSports.com, or call us here at the office, 800-400-9741.
Always a pleasure, buddy. Be well. Enjoy the game.
Okay.
All right, take care. That's Lee Sterling, Paramount Sports there. Yeah, Tom, I'm taking New England minus the 2.5, and I'm sticking by that one. And I actually thought about this. I got into a conversation today with a mutual friend of ours, and he said, well, what would it take for you to take the Rams? Apparently, for the public, 3.5 is all it takes. If they move that number to 3.5, it looks like a lot of that money will come in on the Rams. I know New England's history is that of playing really close games in the Super Bowl, even when they've been big favorites. That's been the case. But I just don't feel it here. I don't think Todd Gurley's right. I wonder about Jared Goff in this setting. I think the Patriots, whatever they found in the postseason, a lot of those two-back sets, they're bludgeoning people. They're winning first down, and they're creating a clean pocket for Brady to throw the football, and he's accurate. I mean, he may not be able to hit the big play down the field like he once did, but he sure as hell is accurate 25 yards and in. And especially when he's got time. And what's weird? The game really comes down to me, Donald getting relentless pressure from inside and Fowler from the outside's got to be great. And if that happens, the game changes and the Rams can win. But I'm just not betting against the best offensive line in football that's going to happen.
I think that they would get pressure on the passer if they can get some stops against the run. But I think New England's going to come out and try to run the ball and take the pass rush away, even the threat of it. They might not even be able to get in because New England's offensive line is good enough. But I think what New England's going to try to do is get them thinking twice
it's worked
about pinning their ears back.
2 games in a row, it worked against both the Chiefs and prior to that the Chargers. So,
but I think something to note here is Sean McVay ready for this moment? Because if you think he is, that place is not going to be nearly as loud as the Superdome was 2 weeks ago. So he's going to be able to clearly communicate with Jared Goff until 15 seconds to go on the play clock. So if they want to go up tempo, and he's going to be the robot, he's going to be the arm of Sean McVay's brain.
Yeah.
Well, the noise factor is not going to be there.
Well, that's why you like the over then, right? Because I think that part of – I agree with Lee on that. I'm feeling the over here. But I by and large, think that the Patriots are going to win this game because of the way it's going to start. I think the Patriots are going to get off to a great start here. That's been the trend in the last 2 games. They seem to have found something. I don't know that there have been a lot of answers for that. And I'm guessing that the moment is going to be awfully big. Particular Jared by the time mode, and I think they'll make it a game, and I'm certainly hoping that they do. It makes for great entertainment on our part, but I think it'll be too much to overcome.
Probably. It's funny. I will wait until the last second to see if you can get past that 3-point number.
Would you take the Rams in 3.5?
Yeah, sure would.
Well, I hope you're right, buddy, because that means you think it's a close game, and I know statistically, again, it ought to be a close game. There's something about what's going on with this Patriots team right now that is, it's hard for me to get my head around it. I felt the Rams were trending in the wrong direction at the end of the year. They were far less explosive than they had been all year long. Mm-hmm. They didn't really look good in either of their wins, in my opinion. Now, to be able to bludgeon the Cowboys with the run was very impressive, but I don't think that's going to happen here. And so then you go post that game against the Saints. I think once they figured out, when they stopped turning the ball over, they dominated the Saints defensively because Drew Brees couldn't stretch the field.
Well, the thing is, I think that the baseline for the Rams is a better baseline than the Patriots when you're talking about talent and ability, even without Kupp on the field. Consider that the Patriots in ball control is a factor, but consider the Patriots ran double the plays of the Chiefs. Yeah. That's what it took for them to win by the slimmest of margins.
Yeah.
Was they had to run double the plays.
Admittedly, that's on the road in Kansas City, and it's 9 degrees, and there are a lot of other factors that won't be in play here. neutral site game, in essence, on turf, climate controlled.
I think that benefits the Rams more than it does the Patriots, though.
Only if the best running back in the league and Todd Gurley is healthy. Anderson's not a threat. I understand it's a nice feel-good story. They'll shut him down. Gurley's the most explosive back in the game. He is remarkable to watch when he's right. And for 13 games this year, he was the singular difference in the way that the Rams played football. I know Kupp is a good player, only added to their weaponry. But Gurley was the difference, and he has not been a difference maker, and their offense has crashed in light of that. And that's not their fault, but that's how dynamic he is.
Well, the trends that are going positively for the Patriots are that Sony Michel looks great. Rob Gronkowski looked like a younger version of himself in the Kansas City game.
Unfortunately, he's found it again.
And if this is his last game,
he's going to show out.
Right. And then, of course, Edelman is he looks like the guy pre-steroids or with steroids. I don't know which one it is, whatever the version of him, really the best version, if he had PEDs or not. That's what he looks like, the best version of himself, too. So they're trending in the right direction, but I'm just wondering, overall, if you just take a big step back here, if New England is trending in a better direction and the Rams are trending downward a little bit, where does that still put them in the grand scheme of competitive with each other, head-to-head?
You know what stinks about the damn Patriots? It's like you look up and it's Sony Michel, obviously, and then when he's not playing, they're throwing it to James White 40 times, and he's really good catching the ball out of the backfield and extending plays, making plays. Rex Burkhead comes in and is bludgeoning people. I mean, it's been bizarre, but they're running those two-back sets. They're not fooling around. It's almost a throwback, their offense. You're thinking about fullback, tight end, play action. It's just it's real. And Edelman out of the slot is impossible to cover.
And even though it's an under center offense, the ball's out too quickly for the pressure to get home in a lot of cases. Yeah.
And I don't see the Rams being the ones to do it. I hope I'm wrong. We'll know early. You know, that's the thing. We'll know early. I mean, when they have their legs, if they're able to get pressure early.
Well, we'll know early if the Rams are at least being competitive in the trenches. But, I mean, we knew early that the Falcons were much better than the Patriots, and then what happened late?
Well, it turned out to be the most boneheaded decision and second-half play calling we had seen in some time. I mean, literally run the ball.
We knew at halftime that Atlanta was the world champion, and then they weren't.
Well, you know, Freeman, our boy, is right when he says he would have been the MVP, and they had somebody with a semblance of reason on their side. He would have been, and we wouldn't be talking about this. It would have been hand the ball to him 20 more times and the game is over. I still just, look, as great as the Patriots comeback was and as great as Tom Brady was in those moments, that was on coaching. That was unbelievable. You can't lose that. You literally almost can't lose that game. Whatever. Remember the mathematic probability and all that. I mean,
it's staggering. But you know what? They did lose the game. That's the incredible thing here, man. It's like I just can't underscore that enough. Yeah. Atlanta lost the game. New England won the game.
Yeah. Atlanta still doesn't have a Super Bowl title because of that.
We have the same amount, like just personally.
You and me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Bucks have more.
Correct.
That's right. Because they've won one.
Mm-hmm.
But the Falcons haven't.
And we've lost a lot of games. You know, we haven't won a playoff game. But we won the game that mattered. We did. We took care of business.
Yeah, the ultimate one. The one that says you're the world champions. It can never be taken away.
Oakland got it to 34-21. It was well, okay.
And then they got blown out.
Here. And then Derek Brooks took it to the house.
Yeah.
And then Dwight Smith took it to the house.
Yeah. And 48 points later, we're laughing and scoffing at that game. And
as world champions.
Yeah. Something the Falcons have never known. Never. Just a shame to have to recap all of that right there. Jeff Cameron, Show 97.9, ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
At 850-219-3535, that's Games for Less. Everybody knows that the holiday season is also known as engagement season. Now that the season's over, it's time for some planning. Social Catering has several options for your wedding event and catering needs. They're Tallahassee's largest catering company, and they manage event spaces at venues like Madison Social, Township, and The Gathering. They can plan all of your wedding events, engagement parties, bridal brunches, rehearsals, even wedding receptions. No new rock on the finger? Hey, doesn't matter. Whatever the event, they've got you covered. For more details, email matt@madisonsocial.com. Again, that's matt@madisonsocial.com.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
Recently, I've seen a lot of commercials from attorneys and public adjusters trying to cash in on the hurricane damages to your home or business. Using these individuals could result in a reduction in your insurance claim reimbursement. As a licensed roofing and general contractor, we know how to navigate insurance claims so that you don't have to share your reimbursement with an attorney or a public adjuster. If you have questions, give us a call. Our advice is free. Turning your claim over to an attorney or a public adjuster is not.
Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
Oh, hey.
Hey, did you hear? My friend's company was the victim of an email impersonation attack.
It's a serious threat to every business.
What if cybercriminals target us and trick accounting into making a wire transfer?
Don't worry, we have Barracuda.
So we're secured?
Yeah. Barracuda uses artificial intelligence to detect and block spearphishing and account takeover attempts.
What a relief.
Don't become a victim. Protect your business at Barracuda.com. Barracuda, your journey secured.
It may not be stomach issues.
For me, it's intense gas, or pain, or diarrhea, sometimes all at once, over and over.
I spent years with the symptoms, but could never figure it out.
No matter what I did, they never went away. So I decided to break it down for my doctor and get really specific about my symptoms.
We discovered that exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, may be the reason for my stomach issues.
EPI is caused by my pancreas. It leads to diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools. The symptoms just don't go away.
But EPI can show up with even one symptom.
The good news? EPI is manageable.
But to get to the right diagnosis, you have to break it down for your doctor and get specific about the severity of your symptoms.
Visit identifyepi.com to learn more and use the symptom checker to help change the conversation with your doctor. Brought to you by AbbVie.
You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
And I'm going to have to get in on the anthem thing. I've never bet the anthem. I've never also seen so many people say they are sure it's going to be over. Crazy. So you lost heartbreakingly in a most famous story.
Yeah, it was to Eric Llewellyn, play-by-play voice of Florida State baseball. And it was, I believe, Christina Aguilera's rendition of the national anthem. Because I remember being
through the rest of it. I knew there was a reason that it went crazy, and I was trying to think about why that was.
Oh, she screwed up a line, and then she didn't do her Christina Aguilera 4 or 5 second hold of any more notes in the song. It was on pace, dude. I mean, it was kind of like my loss of Wake Forest and Memphis.
Well, that was a good loss, Tom. You deserve to lose that
after
game.
A quarter and at like 5 minutes, they're at 50 total points, and all I need to do is clear 72.
Not going to happen, buddy.
So they have more.
Wake is adjusting.
They've got 40 minutes out of the 60 to go, and they're at 50 out of the 70 points they need to get, and it never gets over.
There were two beautiful things with that, man. There was that, and then the 3 kicks. Timeout.
I mean, I didn't lose my shirt on it or anything like that, but it's just that it's like the Aguilera. I mean, that's a 1-to-1 ratio in terms of how it looked. You're like, oh, I'm counting my beers because it was a wager for a couple of brews. But yeah,
Gladys Knight. 28 years ago, one national anthem version. Lee was referencing it a moment ago. So they don't have much history to go off. And everybody says the over is the play here, given that the average length in recent years has been 1 minute and 58 seconds. And that was a 108-second performance by Gladys Knight. So they say if it's anything close, it's a no-brainer.
Well, the question is she old? Does she get scared that it's actually live and race through it herself because she doesn't want to embarrass herself?
I don't think so. And I thought it was key when he noted that we've heard her sing recently in a very public setting there in the funeral. And so Aretha Franklin, everybody saw that. It was on CNN. It was everywhere else. So, and she sang her ass off and sounded in good spirits and good health. She's ready to go.
Did you see that Fox put the wrong singer up when they had the Aretha Franklin tribute? They put a graphic up and it was the wrong singer.
Stunning. By the way, over 105 seconds is minus 140. Under 105 seconds is plus 100.
We remember the life of Deion Sanders, and it's a picture of Billy D. Williams, you know? What are we doing?
Now that I would crack up. But that... you always wonder, that's the funny thing. It's like anymore with newspapers, not to go from ripping one place to another or one medium to another, but, they've cut back on all their budgets, and so you don't have real editors anymore. And so papers are just time and again making really egregious errors. And you're like, how does that not get, it must be happening in TV too, but you're like, how does that not get caught? How does somebody go, look, man, you can't just put any old black person up there because he was black. You got to, there's an actual person.
Famous, in fact.
I mean, you got to get this right.
Wasn't like a school teacher, that nobody knew about until the end. It's like.
It's better if it's a school teacher that nobody knew about to the end and they just put Billy D. Williams.
Billy D. Williams for everyone.
For everyone. Martin Luther King.
Remembering Tiger Woods. Billy D. Williams.
Billy D. Williams. Oh, we do. We have our next...
You're still hanging out with that loser Chewbacca?
It would be great. It's our next Chappelle skit, man. That's perfect. But that was the Chris Rock bit, right? When the first time that there was ever Black History Month, and every kid there was like, because they'd never been taught that in the school system. Martin Luther King. No, who was the first female to Martina Luther King? That was a Chris Rock bit, but it segues nicely for the aforementioned having the wrong person.
Yeah. Well, Aretha's not with us, but Gladys will be singing this weekend, and CBS has it, so hopefully that broadcast gets it right.
Well, they can't get it wrong. I mean, she's going to be announced.
Well, no,
she's
what if
in
they
person.
do a promotion like coming up next? After this break, coming up next is the
Billy
anthem.
D. Williams.
Billy D. Holding the Colt.
It's Gladys Knight.
He's got the Colt.
Coming up next, Gladys Knight to sing our nation's anthem.
Why is Gladys Knight in pinstripes and have a mustache and holding a Colt 45?
Yes. Oh, nowhere to go from here. We'll call it break time. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
More. We have the ability to create custom embroidered apparel that your employees will be proud to wear. So swing by our showroom at 2522 Capitol Circle Northeast or find us online at monogramart.com. Let us help you wear your brand.
Can't we all get along? Boucher Bayrum presents Kenny Chesney, Songs for the Saints Tour. No shit. Friday, April 26th, Donald L. Tucker Civic Center. With special guests David Lee Murphy and Caroline Jones. Tickets on sale now at TuckerCivicCenter.com. Produced by Messina Touring Group and AEG presents.
What's up, Eddie?
What's up, Jeff?
You know, buddy, that I like archaeology, right?
Yeah. I'm quite an anarchist myself.
Right. Well, anyhow, do you know what they find the world over when they excavate? You know the item they find the most of?
I don't know, rocks?
Freaking bowls.
Bowls?
Bowls everywhere. In Rome proper, right? Bowls upon bowls upon bowls.
That's very interesting.
What's the high school over in Jacksonville, the one with all the good football players?
Bowls?
Right.
What are you getting at here, Jeff?
Mo used what to cut his hair?
I don't know, Jeff. What is a bowl?
Boom. A bowl indeed.
Hey, that gives me an idea.
Really?
We should have bowls here at Gordo's. We can do all kinds of bowls. We can do chicken bowls, fish bowls. We can do steak bowls, pork bowls, veggie bowls. Brilliant. I'm a genius. Jeff? Hey, Jeff.
It may not be stomach issues.
For me, it's intense gas, or pain, or diarrhea, sometimes all at once, over and over.
I spent years with the symptoms, but could never figure it out.
No matter what I did, they never went away. So I decided to break it down for my doctor and get really specific about my symptoms.
We discovered that exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, may be the reason for my stomach issues.
EPI is caused by my pancreas. It leads to diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools. The symptoms just don't go away.
But EPI can show up with even one symptom.
The good news? EPI is manageable.
But to get to the right diagnosis, you have to break it down for your doctor and get specific about the severity of your symptoms.
Visit identifyepi.com to learn more and use the symptom checker to help change the conversation with your doctor. Brought to you by AbbVie.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm John Brickley at this hour on Sports Center with the NBA deadline approaching February 7th. The Knicks making headlines Thursday with the trade of Kristaps Porzingis to the Mavericks, leaving the opportunity for New York to sign two marquee free agents to max deals. But according to First Take's Max Kellerman, the Knicks franchise just doesn't get it.
The Knicks have behaved like a bum franchise for decades now. The Knicks, to argue now, Stephen A., that they needed to create cap space. Hey, geniuses, we've known this free agent crop has been amazing for years now. A good franchise doesn't dig themselves cap holes, doesn't acquire cap problems heading into this year. They've cleared the decks, so you have Kristaps Porzingis and cap space. Every other franchise would do that.
The Knicks with a prime chance to sign one of the top free agents this summer, notably Kyrie Irving.
I mean, well, at the end of the day, I'm going to do what I feel is best for my career. And, you know, that's just where it stands. And my focus this season is winning the championship with the Boston Celtics. You know, obviously we had goals coming into the season, and the primary goal is to win the championship. So that's where my focus is.
Has your mindset shifted, though, in regards to re-signing with Boston, like the announcement?
Ask me July 1st.
Celtics and Knicks in Game 1 of an NBA doubleheader tonight on ESPN, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. That'll be followed by the Rockets and the Nuggets. James Harden, 24 straight games of at least 30 points scored. NFL Saints quarterback Drew Brees directing his frustration at Commissioner Roger Goodell for his silence on the officiating era in the NFC title game, adding Goodell has the responsibility to come out and address issues when they arise. Panthers defensive end Julius Peppers announces his retirement after 17 seasons. Peppers was fourth all-time in career sacks.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Libations Friday, brought to you by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachie Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Man, are we going to get this Anthony Edwards kid? For those of you that don't know, he is the top-ranked shooting guard 2019. One of the most sought-after recruits in the entire nation. And the fact that we've been on the list has been stunning. and exciting, but not believable in my mind. You know, we've been burned like this before, where you have a kid that's maybe the number one player in the country saying, well, I'm interested in Florida State, because Ham's got it like that. He can pique a kid's interest no matter what kind of other offers they have. It seems that's happened a lot. You know, you look at any recruiting class and you'll see that we're on a short list along with sometimes Kansas and Kentucky and others, and some of that is, you know, the relationship building and what Ham has done here, and he's got a lot of credibility. His staff does a very good job too. He's got a good recruiting staff, but Ham has a lot of credibility with basketball aficionados. And one of the reasons for that, of course, is his very brief stint in the NBA as handpicked by Michael Jordan. And I'm sorry, if you're handpicked by Michael Jordan, no matter what a disaster it became your 1 year in the NBA, if the GOAT picks you to be a head coach, and, of course, you've had the success you've had here in the ACC and elsewhere prior, I think you've got the ability to walk into a living room, which has been seen by Mike Krzyzewski and Roy Williams and others, and still be, to some degree, on equal footing. No, not career, historic, you know, we're looking at records and all that, but you have that time in the NBA. You were a great player yourself. You've now, in recent years especially, churned out NBA talent. This is a program that just went to the Elite Eight. So I can believe that he's making inroads for a number of reasons. Ham's hip, too. Let's just say it. He's a hip guy. And it's not about, oh, he's black so we can relate to black. He's just a hip guy. He's the youngest 70-year-old I've ever seen.
Yeah, he's a young soul. There are a lot of old souls. Yeah. He's a young soul.
Well, and he's funny and down to earth. And, you know, again, I think he's the kind of guy you like to talk to. You like to be around. I know I do.
There are some people that can be real with you, and you rebuff, you recoil, right? What they say. And then there are guys who can be real with you, and then you somehow smile about it, and you're just like, man, that's who you are. You are completely authentic. And Leonard is one of those types that, I mean, having done a million press conferences for those 4 or 5 years that I was covering it on the beat a little bit tighter day to day, if he got mad, the whole room, you're like, oh, my God.
Yeah, he's mad.
This guy, he commands a room, and he can change it from happy to mad to anything in between with a couple of words, an expression, and a stare.
Well, a little bit of research from a parent or the student-athlete himself also reveals something that is very true, and that is that while he can be authentic and intimidating and loving and everything in between, he cares greatly about you. His life's goal has been to dedicate himself to the betterment of these young men, and he's done that time and again, to the point where with certain kids that have had a real rough go, Ham will weep at graduation. I mean, he's taken it. You know, that story we alluded to, Andrea Adelson's story. There have been any number of really well-written stories about Leonard Hamilton over the years, but his background proves that he puts his money where his mouth is, man. He wants you to be a great basketball player, and he wants you to win, and obviously he wants to win, but he cares very much about what happens to you life after basketball and what happens to you moving forward. And you know, these guys, they get their degrees. I mean, that's one thing. Nobody argues about this with Leonard Hamilton. They can say, there are better coaches out there. Okay, yeah, sure. You know, sometimes he makes mistakes. Yeah, he makes mistakes. Is he the best coach in college basketball? Nobody's saying that. But nobody in our program gets in trouble, and they all graduate. And he doesn't have the same budget as half the schools in the ACC in basketball, and he's still right there competing. So nobody argues that.
Well, and he always talks about how few players actually make it to the NBA. And, you know, he's always harping through the media, which is a message to his players about the importance of getting the degree, whether it's your first 2 years and then you're off or completing a 4-year degree at the institution. You got to have something. You got to have a backup plan. Because Plan Alpha really doesn't work all that often for most kids that are going to come through this program. Maybe Anthony is an exception, but still, you don't know. There are a lot of blue chippers out of high school that they never materialize into somebody who plays in the association.
Yeah, and now Anthony Edwards is one of these kids that is transcendent of even some of the other high-profile kids we've brought in lately. I mean, you know, this is nothing against MJ Walker, but Anthony Edwards is regarded...
Yeah, even Bacon or Beasley.
Right.
I mean, he reclassified, and in some services he's the number 1 player, in others he's the number 2 player. But think about it. If you were to move a year ahead in high school. So you magically halfway through your junior year said, I'm going to reclassify, become a senior, and you're still head of the class?
It's crazy.
In anything.
Yeah, he's freakish. Well, when you look at him, his body is, I mean, it's insane. He's got the trunk of a guy it's a grown-ass man.
Yeah.
He's 6'5", 215 pounds. He's playing for Holy Spirit Preparatory School in Atlanta. And, again, the number one ranked player coming out of Georgia. Like you said, he's number one, number two, depending on where you look at the rankings overall in the class. Now, here's the thing. Originally, he named 8 schools that he was looking at, and it was Duke and Georgia and Kansas, Kentucky, Michigan State, North Carolina, UCLA. The 2 oddities there were Florida State and Georgia on that list. I didn't include Florida State until just now, but Florida State and Georgia were on that list. It makes sense with the Georgia thing, given that he's in Atlanta, but, you know, you would look at that list of blue bloods and go, yeah, no. Well, now he's axed Duke, Michigan State, and UCLA. Says not going to Duke, not going to Michigan State, not going to UCLA. It is now down to Florida State, Georgia, Kansas, Kentucky, North Carolina.
And I believe he just scrapped his Kansas official visit, too.
Yeah, man, it's kind of crazy because all of a sudden, you know, listen, anytime Duke's on a list and you're fighting for a player, a basketball player against Duke, you just assume, well, you know, it's nice to still be mentioned alongside, but we're not going to win this battle. But then Duke's by the wayside. You go, okay, and then, well, still, our name is alongside Michigan State. I mean, we're not going to win this battle. Well, now they're gone. And again, one by one, UCLA is a bit of a mess right now, so I could see us beating out UCLA. But still, it's really surprising that this has happened. And now, dare say, I got my hopes up.
Well, you don't want to bang the drum just yet for a future home game when we have a big one tomorrow against Georgia Tech at noon. But here's the deal. He is supposed to decide this information I'm regurgitating from 24/7. They have a national analyst who wrote an article on Edwards yesterday. He scrapped his Kansas visit. He's going to visit North Carolina this upcoming week as they host NC State. So he wants to see Chapel Hill. And then he's coming here, and that's the last listed visit on his itinerary, is to come here for the Louisville game next Saturday. So if you want to put on a show as a fan base,
February the 9th is the time to do it.
Yes.
Woo! Let's get loud, folks. I mean, I've probably for the first time allowed myself to think about this. This entire process, it's been nice because I think it elevates the name of the program. It's good when the nation's top-tier recruits have your name on the tip of their tongue. You want those kinds of players sending messages just by mentioning your program alongside the Blue Bloods. Now I'm starting to believe it's more than a mention.
Well, and that's a big game, too, for a lot of reasons, because Louisville has improved since the non-conference slate, shall we say. They had an early blip against Pitt, but they're winning left and right in the ACC. And we do very well, Jeff, as you know, with kids in the college age right now these days on the Jeff Cameron Show.
We do. We're hugely popular with the youngins. It's a matter of being hip and witty and all of that.
Youngins, you already sold out for the Georgia Tech game tomorrow.
Well done.
That's more challenging than Louisville. But let's be loud and proud for the Louisville game, the atmosphere, to learn about this kid, know like Georgia. All the kids looked at him and said, come on, be like this, be with us. He remarked that. He put that in paper.
Yeah.
So, or in, he spoke it out, and it was printed.
Put it out into the universe.
Into the universe. So he likes that love.
Yeah.
He wants to feel the student section.
Lots of love.
There you go.
Oh, man, you are like a televangelist right now. I like it.
Well, this actually has real tangible value.
Okay, that's fair. But I'm telling you now, I mean, this is... Maybe I'll go sit with him.
I'm not asking you for money so I can get a jet tax-free.
Right.
I'm saying that we all can have the benefit of this kid if we work together.
Does he need money?
I don't think so.
No?
Oh, well, you know how these things are. I mean, if you're a top recruit across the country, I'm sure he's not hurting right now.
Well, come on now. I mean, I don't know that we're out here paying anybody. Maybe
not
those
us.
other programs
No,
do. Those other programs
maybe a shoe company,
but yeah, you never know. Yeah.
Maybe like Puma says, look at this.
All right, well, then I want to believe, and yes, be loud next week. Good gracious. Be loud tomorrow. We need that win. We need to get back to 500, oh, by the way.
Yeah, it would help to win games between now and then so there's actually interest.
A little momentum
in
going.
game.
Yeah, all right, yeah. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's do some winning. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9, ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Queens of the Prom. Register your guest or volunteer today at nighttoshinetally.com. That's nighttoshinetally.com.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
I save these for the short segments. My flirtations with my, all the archaeology stuff that I like. But this one made me sad, Tom. I don't want to dwell on this one. Archaeologists have found remains of horses in ancient Pompeii stuck in a stable. They were screwed. Oh, man. Archaeologists have unearthed the petrified remains of a harnessed horse and saddle in the stable of an ancient villa in Pompeii, a suburb of that Pompeii. It told the Italian news agency ANSA that the villa belonged to a high-ranking military officer, a general perhaps, in ancient Roman times, and that in an effort to ride out as Mount Vesuvius was exploding, left the horse behind. I think you need the horse. Let's get on the horse. Got a better shot, obviously, than the runners. Runners didn't make it.
He probably had another horse, I imagine.
I think you're right. So in that moment, the horse that got chosen looked at the other one. I'm so sorry.
Or it said, "That's right. That's what you get for picking on me my whole life."
The volcanic eruption of Mount Vesuvius destroyed the flourishing city of Pompeii near present-day Naples. The founder there, the head of that site dig, Osana, says that the volcanic ash, along with the boiling vapors, killed all of the horses in the stable. He did hope that the villa will eventually reopen for public visits where you can see the dead horses. Right now, it's not open for you can see the humans. You can see the dead humans all you want. You can't see the dead horses.
Can you really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
Oh, it's one of my life's goals, buddy. I can't wait. I desperately want to go to that.
So that's on the list.
Oh,
Let's
absolutely.
go to Pompeii, huh?
Yeah. Well, and unfortunately, I mean, it's a hugely popular tourist.
So are they all skeletons or what?
Oh, you've seen them all curled up in their death poses? You haven't seen them?
No.
They were preserved.
Are they like Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen in Star Wars?
They look like they're molds. They're mold. You've never seen this.
No. So they're just like black molds of like.
They're white molds. They're just ash. They're frozen in time. You can, in some cases, you can see their death expressions. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. They were preserved.
Well, I get the concept, obviously, and they often use this in film with nuclear blasts, where you could see like the shadow on the wall.
Oh, yeah.
They always do like the mom and the kid with the shadows.
Yeah, holding hands or something.
Yeah, something like that to scare the living daylights out of you. So they have these people preserved, huh? They're like white human forms.
Look at, man, I'm going to do this for you. There's one right there.
Oh, no kidding.
Frozen. Some of them are trying to crawl away. There's some sad ones. There's like a family huddled together. They knew they were done. They're holding on to each other.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, no, it's cool that they've got a whole. There's a bunch of them. I mean, you can go on. I've looked at all of them online.
Death, sorrow, and destruction. Freaking awesome.
Look at these people here.
No, man. You got pop-ups. What kind of site is that?
This one's advertising for
no
jewelry. But
jewelry.
No
okay.
thanks. Don't need that. Here we go. Tom
Jewelry.
needs to see these.
Some kind of ring.
The plaster bodies are all full of bones. So you get, see this guy laid down on his bench. He went, I'm done.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it's all over. I'm going to get killed. And he had all these pots. And there's this guy making a run for it. Got stuck. Look at that, Tom.
Oh, look at that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You haven't seen this?
No.
Oh, I like it. We're bringing a little something to you. Our listeners. But you guys can find it online.
I'm aware of the historical significance, and I learned about it, but I never saw the photos of the people.
Oh, man. Yeah, look at these.
There's more.
There's a
Here
little kid
go.
right there.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's a
right.
toughie.
He's forever a little kid, huh?
Yeah, forever a little kid. That's how it ended. Hopefully he was asleep. But you got entire families. There's a whole family just rolling over like, we're done. That's that. We're all done here.
So that's the spot that they died?
That's the exact spot they died.
Excavated.
They have not been moved.
Because it would be dangerous to move them, right? Probably they'd break up into dust.
I don't know, but that's the exact spot. You can see these people. They've excavated. It's an amazing thing. They'll tell you how they died, the whole deal. And the casual positions of the bodies sometimes indicate that they were
surprised.
Yeah, they were sleeping. They were out cold, or it was an afternoon nap or something. Like whoop, whoop, that's the end of that.
Volcanic Pearl Harbor.
But you would much rather have been asleep. It would have been awful. Would be sitting out there like working on something like
what kind of dream do you think you had?
But think about how fast.
So hot in here. What's going on?
Think about how fast that had to have happened to froze people like that. Like the idea that it's going to erupt. We got to run. It had to have been just like boom, boom. That's it. Enveloped. I think so. Wave, Tom. Just a big death wave came through there, and you had no idea that was the end of it. A pyroclastic death wave. Just.
That's exactly as it sounds. I was playing a clip of the pyroclastic death wave.
Pyroclastic.
Pyroclastic.
That's the end of it.
That's your golf swing. Yeah.
Well, the people weren't screaming, we don't think. They were sleeping. If you're going to get killed by that method, be asleep. Whenever I see the footage of, it's getting too morbid. Let's move on.
Think about that legacy, though. Like, people are so hooked and fixated on their legacy, right? They want a name on a building that won't exist in 100 years anyway.
And, by the way, you won't know
better.
it because you'll be dead.
Right. But there's a legacy. Look at this. Thousands of,
I guess.
Hundreds of years later.
You don't know their names.
No, but still, there they are.
Some of them they do. But
they have a name tag. Hello, my name is Octavius.
They put them on the outside of their little villa there, or they put them on their pots and pans. Well, not their pans, but their pots. Their pots. They're always putting their family name on pots and stuff.
Quintus.
They find that all the time.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Child can join in on the fun.
Hi, this is Gene Deckeroff for Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. 2019 is here, and we've got to get rid of all the remaining 2018s. And the only way to do that is to offer employee pricing on over 50 Jeep Wranglers in stock. We've never been able to offer such unbelievable prices on Jeep Wranglers, and with over 50 in stock, they all must go. Buy one for as low as $29,900 or save up to $5,600 on in-stock vehicles. The all-new 2019 Ram 1500 is Motor Trend Truck of the Year, and it's breaking all kinds of records. We have over 80 Ram 1500s in stock with up to $11,000 off MSRP. You can't go wrong. Motor Trend Truck of the Year and up to $11,000 off MSRP. It's the deal of the year. There's only one place to go. Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat on the corner of West Tennessee and Capitol Circle. We're right on the corner and always right on the price. Or visit us on the web at TallahasseeDCJ.com. Dealer retains all rebates and incentives plus tax, tag, and dealer fee. Hey, Seminole fans, the weather's still chilly, but the prices are hot, hot, hot during the winter clearance event happening now at Garnet & Gold. For a limited time only, take an unbelievable 40% off regular priced Florida State outerwear, including jackets, sweats, and long sleeve tees. And take an additional 30% off all clearance items. Save big time during the winter clearance event on now at all 3 Garnet & Gold locations, West Pensacola Street, Killarn, and our flagship store on Governor Square Boulevard. If you're a Seminole, we're your store. Shop local and go Noles.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There's a tremendous price war among the major term life companies. Rates have dropped dramatically in the past few years. For example, a man age 45 non-tobacco user, $1 million of coverage, $75 per month level rate for the next 10 years. Or a man age 50 non-tobacco can obtain $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of only $110 per month, guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. That's right, level rate guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates available for you as well. At Termbusters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for new or replacement term life insurance, call today for a quote at 1-800-569-5440. That's 1-800-569-5440. You're probably paying more than you should. Call Termbusters, 1-800-569-5440, or visit our website at termbusters.net. Remember, 1-800-569-5440. Rates and availability may vary by state. Sample rate quotes based on preferred non-tobacco underwriting. Exam required to qualify.
Tallahassee's unquestioned sports authority.
Who do you think you are? I am.
97.9 ESPN Radio. Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio. WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm John Brickley at this hour on Sports Center with the NBA deadline approaching February 7th. The Knicks making headlines Thursday with the trade of Kristaps Porzingis to the Mavericks, leaving the opportunity for New York to sign 2 marquee free agents to max deals. But according to First Take's Max Kellerman, the Knicks franchise just doesn't get it.
The Knicks have behaved like a bum franchise for decades now. The Knicks, to argue now, Stephen A., that they needed to create cap space. Hey, geniuses, we've known this free agent crop has been amazing for years now. A good franchise doesn't dig themselves cap holes, doesn't acquire cap problems heading into this year. They've cleared the decks, so you have Kristaps Porzingis and cap space. Every other franchise would do that.
The Knicks with a prime chance to sign one of the top free agents this summer, notably Kyrie Irving.
I mean, well, at the end of the day, I'm going to do what I feel is best for my career. And, you know, that's just where it stands. And my focus this season is winning the championship with the Boston Celtics. You know, obviously we had goals coming into the season, and the primary goal is to win championships. So that's where my focus is.
Has your mindset shifted, though, in regards to re-signing with Boston, like the announcement?
Ask me July 1st.
Celtics and Knicks in Game 1 of an NBA doubleheader tonight on ESPN, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. That'll be followed by the Rockets and the Nuggets. James Harden, 24 straight games of at least 30 points scored. NFL, Saints quarterback Drew Brees directing his frustration at Commissioner Roger Goodell for his silence on the officiating era in the NFC title game, adding Goodell has the responsibility to come out and address issues when they arise. Panthers defensive end Julius Peppers announces his retirement after 17 seasons. Peppers was 4th all-time in career sacks.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Libations Friday, brought to you by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachie Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for this week. And I'm excited about the hour. Not that I'm not excited about the other hours. I'll tell you why here in just a moment. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything. Hey, if you do, it happens. Go back, get caught up at your leisure. All 3 hours posted upon the conclusion of the show. You can email us if you like, JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. On Twitter, it's at JCameronShow. WTSM app, good for your mobile devices. We're on YouTube, as is customary. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you're all right. Periscope as well, if you follow at 979 ESPN Radio on Twitter. Work done, buddy?
All right.
Yeah, so I mentioned on yesterday's show, Warwick Dunn's going to join us here in a few minutes, and we're excited about that. It'll be a brief opening segment here. We're kind of at the whim of their schedule, and, of course, Warwick Dunn is there in Atlanta for the Super Bowl, and you know, I could prattle on for days. I typically do. And I talk to this guy, and after I talk to this guy, and anytime this guy is mentioned, because he's one of my very favorite people, let alone Knowles or former Buccaneers, or even for you Falcons fans, Falcons. I mean, he's just he's an inspiration. And I don't use that word lightly. There are a lot of good people in the world. There are a lot of people who do good things. I'd like to think most of my friends and good acquaintances and people like that are all good people. And then there are the guys that put it into practice and have done things that dramatically change the lives of people who could really use it. And this guy's done it, well, over 160 times now, if you're thinking just about houses. And Warwick Dunn's charities are just legendary, and he's won the Walter Payton Man of the Year award, and he'll be joining us as sponsored by Nationwide to promote that award again, and we'll get into other stuff. But he's just awesome.
He's one of those that when I was a little kid, if you asked probably my 7 or 8 year old self who my favorite or who my heroes were, like not people like my dad, who was always a hero, my mom, who's a hero of mine, but it'd be Batman. I love Darth Vader, even though he was bad, and I love me some Warwick Dunn. Warwick Dunn was a hero, dude, because of what he did at Florida State, and obviously the connection. He gets drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We start 5-0 his rookie season. He could do no wrong in my eyes, and it's great to see that little kid. He was right. He got one right. You get sport. But Warwick, so in a humble way. You don't see him pounding his chest, having documentaries done about him, you know, talking about all the good things he does, and he puts on airs in front of a camera. He is who he is, and he lets his actions speak for himself and his heart, which is a good heart.
A lot of people, when you go into debate mode with rival fans about the greatest players at your institution or the team that you rooted for, are able to cite any number of folks that have the kind of athletic prowess that a Deion Sanders has, and that some others have, but those are never the guys. Like Deion's never a guy that I reference. Anyhow, I go straight to Warwick Dunn, Derek Brooks, another great guy, another guy who's done a lot of things for the community, and I go to people like Marvin Jones and others. But Warwick is the guy that you choose, along with Charlie Ward and a few others, that you choose when you want to make 2 points. One is the greatness athletically and the teams he was on and the accomplishments on the field, but also the more long-lasting of impressions, and that is the humanity of an individual, somebody who is somebody that you can prop up and say, oh, well, yes, he was an incredible football player, and if we want to cite days in which he was a one-man wrecking crew, I go back to 95 or 93 or whenever you want to look. Yeah, we can go offensive rookie of the year in the NFL, all these moments. But almost assuredly, you're going to go straight to Warrick Dunn because of what he's done off the football field, and he's special. And you only get a few of those.
Well, he was one of those two for me that I grew up with. Of course, I trail him by whatever it is, close to 15 years. But I got to see the organic growth of his foundation and what he was doing for single moms in the Tampa area. And then it grew into this multi-city thing when he left to go to the Falcons.
It's awesome.
And now you hear about, Deshaun Watson is one of the people touched by
I'm going to bring it up. Yeah, that one, I always think, that's great you did that work. Good. Come on, man. I kid. That said, this segment is more about setting up the next segment. He'll join us in a few moments. In fact, his handlers are letting us know now that he is about ready to go. So we'll take it to break. We'll come back. We'll have Warrick Dunn on. I look forward to that interview. And then you know what? My mom and I will make our final picks of the day, of the year, if you will. And I know how bitter she is that the Patriots are back. It's the closest she's ever come to just cursing the name of people she's never met. She's usually good about that, but she's close. She hates the Patriots. So we'll go through and make that pick and do it all. But Warrick Dunn joins us next. Stay tuned. Jeff Cameron Show.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Fridays at 6 p.m. right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio, Tallahassee Sports Monster.
Do you have a son or daughter who has special needs age 14 or older? Register them today for Genesis Church's Night to Shine Prom, sponsored by the Tim Tebow Foundation at nighttoshinetally.com. The 5th annual community-wide event being hosted by Genesis Church at the center of Tallahassee on February 8th from 5 to 9 p.m. Every guest with special needs will be given the true VIP treatment, including a red carpet entrance, complete with limousine rides, paparazzi, hair and makeup done by Aveda and Cabellos, flowers, shoe shines, food, karaoke, and dancing. At the end of the night, all of our guests will be named kings and queens of the prom. Register your guest or volunteer today at nighttoshinetally.com. That's nighttoshinetally.com.
Wilson extends the hands he has. Wilson, quick throw. And it's good. Intercepted by Malcolm Butler. Butler has it at the one. Malcolm Butler stepped in front of the throw.
For the first time, Tallahassee's Sports Monster is your home for the biggest game of the year.
Zero's on the clock. It's over. The Eagles have beaten the New England Patriots.
Super Bowl 53 is on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Westwood One's presentation of Super Bowl 53, brought to you locally by Liberty Tax of Tallahassee, the law office of Jose Fernandez, and by Truck and Car Concepts.
With the Bloomberg Business of Sports Report, I'm Michael Barr. Super Bowl Sunday. It's an American tradition, even if one's just there for the halftime show. According to the National Retail Federation, total spending on everything from food to jerseys to decorations for the big game is expected to hit $14.8 billion, down from last year's $15.3 billion, but still the third highest on record. Average spending among U.S. adults will be $81.30. An Australian rugby league team wants to continue Huawei's longest-ever sports sponsorship, despite the Chinese communication giant's ban from Australia's 5G networks and legal wrangling with the United States. Huawei has been the major sponsor of the Canberra Raiders, Canberra's only team in the National Rugby League since 2012, and will consider this year extending its first sponsorship contract with a sports team anywhere in the world. And that is a Bloomberg Business of Sports report. I'm Michael Barr.
Imagining a better bank starts with looking at the savings rates most banks offer and saying, really? Capital One is building something better. You can open a Capital One savings account with one of the nation's best savings rates from anywhere. Or here.
Or here!
One of the nation's best savings rates. Opened online, at a Capital One location, or from anywhere. That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
For consumers only. Offered by Capital One N.A. member FDIC. Copyright 2018 Capital One.
Liberty Mutual Insurance knows you're focusing on the road right now, so we'll just describe our newspaper print ad to you. It's a tiny square that's colored a newspaper shade of gray that has you thinking yellow. As the words read, Liberty Mutual customizes your insurance so you only pay for what you need. Now that's the kind of print ad that'll make you glad you still read newspapers.
Go to libertymutual.com for a customized quote and you could save.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Equal housing insurer.
The Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Big store pricing with local service. Online at ctf.nu.
What a treat it is. It's been a long time since we talked to former Florida State great and NFL legend Warrick Dunn, but he's back on the program again now, and I know that makes all of Tallahassee and, hell, people who root for humanity to do well smile. Warrick Dunn joins us on the Jeff Cameron Show. Hello, Mr. Dunn. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How you guys?
Doing great. Hey, listen, I it's not surprising to me that they would have you talking about the NFL's and Walter Payton Man of the Year award. Warrick, you are, one of certainly our favorite Seminoles of all time, but just a great guy. And I know that it's an honor to be able to do that, to be able to talk about this award, an award you won back in 2004 as the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year. And I got to ask you, how did it affect, by the way, not only you, but obviously the charitable work that you've done for so many years in your foundation?
I'm just so thankful. Thank you to Nationwide for, partnering with NFL, the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award, and all of the nominees this coming year. But I know for myself, winning this award has definitely meant a lot. It put me on another level in a sense, because now you get recognized for the things that you do off the field instead of all the things that happen on the field. And I've been able to impact communities, impact families in a way that is life-changing, and I'm definitely thankful for that. And without going through a tragedy in my own life, this would have never happened. Losing my mom at an early age, and living out her dream of homeownership to other single-parent families. I mean, for me, this has been a blessing in disguise, and I've used this program over the years as therapy, so I'm definitely thankful.
You've had so many amazing people that have benefited from that charity. Can you think back on, listen, for people that don't know, I should put it out there. I mean, the Warrick Dunn Charities has donated over 160 homes to single-parent families. That's simply remarkable. And in their own way, individually, I'm sure they're all special. But are there a couple that you can think back on now that moved you more than others, or something that still profoundly stays with you?
Well, yeah, I have a lot of memories of the first year I did it, 1997. One of the recipients picked me up and squeezed me because she couldn't believe that, this was hers. I've built relationships with families over the years that we get together, we go out, they call me, they text me and ask me for assistance when it comes to the kids or have questions. So I built relationships with a lot of individuals. I'm here to support. I want them to create opportunities, experiences for their own kids, so that we can help change the outcome and their kids' lives. Give them opportunity to experience something different. So it's been a blessing, and I'm thankful that I'm in a position that I'm able to bless people, but also impact them in a way that I would always say that it's life-changing. It's changed my life. And I hope I've had a positive change in their life as well, impact in their life as well.
Yeah, I think you profoundly have. And, one change in a life that we would go back in time, Warrick, we could say, I don't know, maybe Deshaun Watson goes to Florida State.
I wish I could return back to time. I ain't time. But, if I knew that he was going to be this great, 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 great quarterback, of course, I would have got him there. I would have I would have gotten to Tallahassee. But then he chose to go to Clemson, and he's done a tremendous job of helping that program, but also continuing to help other people. I mean, he's a great quarterback, but he's done a lot of positive things off the field already in his young career that, that shows you a lot of maturity in a young man.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And by the way, we're talking to former Florida State great and NFL great Warrick Dunn, and he's joining us on behalf of Nationwide Walter Payton Man of the Year Award and speaking on their behalf. And I know, and it's an award he won back in 2004. I wonder, Warrick, for so many Noles, they're also Buccaneers fans. I am. My producer Tom Lang is. We watched your entire career. We watched your entire career.
Mardi Gras is March 5th, and Tasty Pastry... Mardi Gras is March 5th, and Mardi Gras is March 5th, and Tasty Pastry...
I do. I don't think I get enough credit for what I have done on the field. And if you think about my career, I played at 185 pounds. In my height days, rushed for almost 11,000 yards, had about 15,000 yards of total offense. But if you think about it, my first few years in Tampa, I wasn't getting 20 carries a game.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't in a great offense, right? I did what I could with the carries that I made, and I think that I had. And over the years, I think you would see that I probably averaged 17 carries a game throughout my career. So, I think I played at a high level. I lost a lot of touchdowns to Mike Allstott, the touchdown vulture. So, and that's how it was. But at the same time, I tried to maximize my time and play at a high level, and I think I did that.
Well, you did, and you brought up the total yardage, which is a significant number, and then in addition to that, you averaged over 4 yards a carry. I've always wondered this. What made you so good at avoiding, I guess for lack of a better term, getting squared up? It seemed like you never got hit hard. And I know you did, and I know that's a misnomer, but you seem to have something in your head, an alarm bell, an awareness, something that told you when it was time to get down, and you preserved your body in that way. Were you always that way, even in high school, or what was it about your ability to avoid being squared up and getting hit as hard as we see a lot of running backs get hit?
Just thinking about it, I mean, I played with the instinct. I understood the game. And I knew that I need to always live for another down. And I tried to run that way, but I wasn't going to put my body in harm's way at the same time. So I always tried to protect myself when I ran. And I tried to just run with my instinct, honestly. I just tried to leave everything I had on the field. Nothing was predetermined. Everything was always reactive. And I know in life sometimes you need to plan instead of being reactive, crisis management. But in football, I understood early on, okay, this is the potential for the play. Now it's a matter of if they do this, I do that. If they do that, I'm going to do this. And I just really just try to pattern my game and make people miss and prolong my career. And early in my career, I can tell you my rookie year, my second year, because my carries were so limited, I wanted to try to take every carry to the house. And that's just not the reality of how you should run. So I became a smart runner, much more efficient runner, where I tried to maximize it, get down, live for another down. So definitely thankful that I didn't take a lot of hits, have any major injuries throughout my career.
Yeah, and I've always wondered, and we're talking to former Florida State great, NFL great, Warrick Dunn, and I got to ask you, Warrick, do you think in some ways, and you can be completely honest about this because I think the answer is yes. Do you think you were ahead of your time?
Yeah, well, it's crazy. I've been asked a lot about how would you fare in this era, because it's more of a passing league. They utilize the back out of the backfield more. And I think I'd have fared well, but I do like the era that I played in because I wanted to prove to people that I can run the football. I know I can catch. I know I can make guys in the miss and open field, but can I run in between the tackles? Can I run on the edge? Can I get that tough yard? Those are things I wanted to prove, and I think I did that. Most guys who played against me didn't realize how hard I ran. So I tried to run hard like I was a big guy, but I was a little small guy that was just trying to get every inch that he can get.
Yeah, I'm always wondering, you were obviously, to a lot of guys, when they see that weight, they think you're a small guy, but you were put together well, strong guy. How many guys you catch off guard? How many guys you catch slipping who didn't get down low enough? Low man wins. How many times did you truck somebody in your career?
Well, I can't even remember. I didn't even care about running over guys.
Yeah.
I knew that I had strong legs, and I was going to utilize my skill set to the fullest, and try to take advantage and make guys off balance so I could make the miss. I wasn't looking for contact, so I play to make guys miss, not to hit any guy, hit anybody.
Yeah. You're here on behalf of Nationwide, obviously presenting the sponsor for the Walter. They're the presenting sponsor, I should say, the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award. How important is it to have support of a company like Nationwide and to further your foundation's work? And obviously, we know you think it's important because your actions have shown that. How important is it for the guys in the league to continue to give back to their communities?
Well, I think it's important. Nationwide is a great company that is definitely raising for the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award. More guys are being recognized. They donated over $1 million to player charities, foundations. They're impacting their community in such a positive way. And now each nominee, they're actually going to get $50,000 donation to their charity just being a nominee.
Wow.
So to me, that says a lot about a company that's really invested into the community, but also into the players. They understand the magnitude that you already have offense and player of the year award. You don't have an award, or now you have an award, Walter Payton Man of the Year Award, that talks about how great a guy is on the field, but how extraordinary this individual is off the field. So they've raised more awareness, giving guys more of an avenue and opportunity to share their success stories, share their impact they're making, and share their passion about helping people. So thankful to Nationwide for being a great partner, and not just of myself, but of the National Football League and the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award.
Before I let you go, Warrick, what happens first? The Bucks make the playoffs or the Noles win 10 games, and why?
Man, I'm pulling for the nose first.
Sure, yeah.
Pulling for the nose first, baby. Pulling for the nose first.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure, buddy. Be well, and I'll talk to you again down the line, and keep on being incredible like you've always been, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, appreciate you. Thank you, man.
All right, take care. That's Warrick Dunn, and he's got to talk to a lot of people, I know, and so I think we could have kept him on. I wanted to keep talking, Tom, but he's got, I think, 15 of these to do. It was pretty cool, though. They reached out because, and this is, I've talked to Warrick probably on the air, 5 to 7 times in my career, off the air, a few dozen. But I will just say this. He's always been really good, and I can't say this about everybody, so that's why I'm pointing it out with him. He's always been really good about wanting to talk to Tallahassee. He's always been good about wanting to reach out to his fellow Noles, and he knows. I'm not trying to prop myself up, but obviously I've been on the air in this community for 20 years, and he has always, when he's done things like this, and he does lots of these in order to promote these charities and promote people awareness and all of that. He'll ask his guys, make sure we're on in Tallahassee. Make sure you reach out to Jeff Cameron. And I've always appreciated that. And again, I don't mean it to be about me. It's just I've always appreciated that he's done that. And this was no different. The guy that reached out to me is in New York City. He certainly didn't look us up. He said that Warrick said, talk to Jeff, see if he's up here. If he's not, let's go on down there. How cool is that?
That's pretty awesome. Yeah,
it is. It's really cool.
There might have been a documentary on ESPN last night that might have somebody who behaved differently in terms of embracing Tallahassee the way that Warrick does.
Well, Warrick is a remarkable human being, and you got to give that guy a lot of credit. And I wish they would feature him even more than they do. I mean, think about that: 160 homes, 160, and that's just like that's a big deal. But I can tell you he does continue to stay in touch with those people and impact their lives and find out what happened in their careers. And you can hear the way he lights up when he talks about it. It's remarkable to have that kind of passion, to have the ability to do that and the foresight to do that and the maturity to do it and to come up with it at the time that he did. I'm just never ceases to amaze me. Jeff Cameron, Show 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Everybody was dancing in the moonlight, dancing in the moonlight. Everybody's feeling warm and bright.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Or call them at 850-224-2232. 2 Men and a Truck, the movers who care.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Hi, this is Gene Deckeroff for Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. 2019 is here, and we've got to get rid of all the remaining 2018s. And the only way to do that is to offer employee pricing on over 50 Jeep Wranglers in stock. We've never been able to offer such unbelievable prices on Jeep Wranglers, and with over 50 in stock, they all must go. Buy one for as low as $29,900 or save up to $5,600 on in-stock vehicles. The all-new 2019 Ram 1500 is Motor Trend Truck of the Year, and it's breaking all kinds of records. We have over 80 Ram 1500s in stock with up to $11,000 off MSRP. You can't go wrong. Motor Trend Truck of the Year and up to $11,000 off MSRP. It's the deal of the year. There's only one place to go. Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat on the corner of West Tennessee and Capitol Circle. We're right on the corner and always right on the price. Or visit us on the web at TallahasseeDCJ.com. Dealer retains all rebates and incentives plus tax, tag, and dealer fee.
Wilson extends the hands. He has it. Wilson, quick throw. And it's good. Intercepted. Intercepted to Malcolm Butler. Butler has it at the 1. Malcolm Butler stepping in front of the throw.
For the first time, Tallahassee's Sports Monster is your home for the biggest game of the year.
Zero's on the clock. It's over. The Eagles have beaten the New England Patriots.
Super Bowl 53 is on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Westwood One's presentation of Super Bowl 53, brought to you locally by Liberty Tax of Tallahassee, the law office of Jose Fernandez, and by Truck and Car Concepts.
Do you have a son or daughter who has special needs age 14 or older? Register them today for Genesis Church's Night to Shine prom, sponsored by the Tim Tebow Foundation at nighttoshinetally.com. The 5th annual community-wide event being hosted by Genesis Church at the center of Tallahassee on February 8th from 5 to 9 p.m. Every guest with special needs will be given the true VIP treatment, including a red carpet entrance, complete with limousine rides, paparazzi, hair and makeup done by Aveda and Cabellos, flowers, shoe shines, food, karaoke, and dancing. At the end of the night, all of our guests will be named kings and queens of the prom. Register your guest or volunteer today at nighttoshinetally.com. That's nighttoshinetally.com.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm John Brickley at this hour on Sports Center with the NBA deadline approaching February 7th. The Knicks making headlines Thursday with the trade of Kristaps Porzingis to the Mavericks, leaving the opportunity for New York to sign 2 marquee free agents to max deals. But according to First Take's Max Kellerman, the Knicks franchise just doesn't get it.
The Knicks have behaved like a bum franchise for decades now. The Knicks, to argue now, Stephen A., that they needed to create cap space. Hey, geniuses, we've known this free agent crop has been amazing for years now. A good franchise doesn't dig themselves cap holes, doesn't acquire cap problems heading into this year. They've cleared the decks, so you have Kristaps Porzingis and cap space. Every other franchise would do that.
The Knicks with a prime chance to sign one of the top free agents this summer, notably Kyrie Irving.
I mean, well, at the end of the day, I'm going to do what I feel is best for my career. And, you know, that's just where it stands. And my focus this season is winning the championship with the Boston Celtics. You know, obviously we had goals coming into the season, and the primary goal is to win the championship. So that's where my focus is.
Has your mindset shifted, though, in regards to re-signing with Boston, like the announcement?
Ask me July 1st.
Celtics and Knicks in Game 1 of an NBA doubleheader tonight on ESPN, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. That'll be followed by the Rockets and the Nuggets. James Harden, 24 straight games of at least 30 points scored. NFL Saints quarterback Drew Brees directing his frustration at Commissioner Roger Goodell for his silence on the officiating era in the NFC title game, adding Goodell has the responsibility to come out and address issues when they arise. Panthers defensive end Julius Peppers announces his retirement after 17 seasons. Peppers was fourth all-time in career sacks.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Libations Friday, brought to you by Quarter Pocket Bar and Grill. Quarter Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachie Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Well, that music does mean, well, it means a lot of things, but on this show, it means it's time for me to make one final pick on the year with my mother. If you would, Tom, be so kind as we welcome in Mama. Cue it up.
And now for another edition of the Family Pick. Nick.
Go to your room! Mana, the meatloaf!
Take it away, Jeffrey.
Well, Mama, it was another competitive campaign for you and I, but I came out on top victorious.
It was a competitive campaign, I must say. But then down towards the end, I kind of faded a little bit. But anyway, it was fun, and this is kind of a good way to just kind of tie up the year.
Well, I actually think you should be proud of the fact that you were getting smoked midway through the season. You were getting a beat down. It looked like I was going to be able to brag to no end. And then you had a weekend that's probably the single best weekend in our head-to-head battles that either one of us have ever had, and you own it. You went, I think, 5-0 or 6-0 on a weekend.
I think I did. It was unbelievable.
It was. You won every game that we had different one weekend, and it was stunning, to say the least. And, yeah, you came
I need to have more of those.
Yeah, and then you faltered down the stretch. But that said, I was proud of that effort. That was a hell of a bounce back, and so you made it interesting.
Some of those ones that I lost after that were like in overtime and like by a point or two, or a field goal or something. So they weren't like big blowouts.
No, we don't make excuses.
I don't. No excuses, no excuses. But I tell you what, we both went in the tank 2 weeks ago.
We did. We missed both games. Yeah, that was
ridiculous.
That was a toughie. Well, we continue to hope against hope with this New England thing, and damn it, man. Always with the Patriots, it's so impressive. I got to tell the audience here, because some of you will relate to this, and I think it's kind of funny. My mom is, if you haven't learned by now, a pretty fun-loving, kind-hearted woman who roots for people and teams and cities to do well. But she has now reached a point of breaking with the New England Patriots. She hates them in a way that I've never seen her hate really anything else. She hates the Patriots to the point where she said to me after the Chiefs lost in overtime, well, I'm not even going to watch the game. I'm not going to watch the Super Bowl. I'm done with it. Not going to watch it. Don't want to see these sorry-ass Patriots win it again is what you said.
I did. And you know what? And now I'm in such a conflicted state because I do not want New England to win. I'm sick of them, like as I said, in very strong terms. But I feel very bad. I don't think that the Rams should be there because I really think that blown call was tragic. It was because that, I think, really cost the Saints going to the Super Bowl. So now I feel like the Rams are kind of in there by default. I know they had a great season, but I still think that is a really crummy way to get into the Super Bowl.
It is, but it's not their fault. And that kid still had to make a 57-yard field goal in overtime to win it.
I know he did. But it just really angers me, and I hope that guy that missed that call is no longer a referee. But anyway, so now I really don't know if I want to root for the Rams, but I have to because I don't want New England to win.
Yeah, well, you can't hold it against the Rams that the official was incompetent.
No, I know. That's exactly right. And I guess that's the way I have to look at it.
Yeah. I mean, that's not – and by the way, the Saints were going to get blown out by New England. The Rams dominated that game in the second half. I know it gets lost in the shuffle, but the Rams were better than New Orleans in the second half of that game. Oh, but really about the second quarter on.
Well, and the thing about it is, too, I just feel like the Rams have a better chance to beat New England.
I do too, but I'm not picking them, and I think you aren't either, unless you want to just do it to be contrarian. I mean, I don't think you really believe they're going to win the game, do you?
No, I don't probably. I think they probably will win the game until the last minute, and then the damn Patriots will come down the field, do some miraculous thing, and win it when the ticker tape goes down when the clock expires.
Yeah, well, the good news is, Mom, they don't win it every time. And, in fact, just last year they lost in the Super Bowl. So, you can hold out hope.
I know. I do hold out hope. And the only thing is, I know it'll make Aaron happy.
Yeah. For those that don't know, that's my brother who lives in New Hampshire and is a lifelong Patriots fan. So let me ask you this, Mom. Is New England – well, okay, because New England's won it so often and is there every year, you've grown to have this animosity towards them. I understand that. I think most fans understand that. But do you have a legitimate dislike for, say, Bill Belichick or Tom Brady?
No, I think Bill Belichick, I don't know. I don't like his personality. I think he's very dour and just not very personable. But obviously he's a great coach. And Tom Brady, you can't not like Tom Brady. I mean, he's fabulous. He's in the clutch. He's 41 years old. He's playing at the top of his game. It's really hard not to like him.
I guess. He's a little pompous.
He is a little pompous. He is. But, I mean, I don't love him, but I mean, I can't really dislike him or hate him or anything because he is really probably the best of all time.
Yeah, I think we've gotten to that place now where we're all kind of just willing to concede he's the best of all time. I mean, for the longest time, we would put up those other arguments, and then at some point, you're like, well.
I know. You just kind of got to give those up. I mean, especially if they win on Sunday. I mean, has any other team won?
No, they're already, the Steelers. But nobody, this is the thing. As a franchise, they're doing things in a salary cap era that, by definition, really shouldn't be done. The rules are set up so that it can't be, and they continue to do it. And that's a mark of
really great. What's wrong with go? And then they just sort of plug somebody else in that you've never heard of, and they just keep doing fine.
They keep on keeping on. It's absurd. All right. Well, now you remember back in my youth when I used to tell you that it bothered me that you rooted for the freaking Yankees. And you didn't understand that. My mom loved the Yankees because what was it that you liked?
I actually still love the Yankees. I know no one that's kind of like the Patriots.
But you don't even pay attention.
When I was a little girl, my grandparents, I used to spend a lot of time with them, and I would spend the night and stuff, and we would watch the Yankees on TV all the time. And Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris and there's somebody else were all from Oklahoma.
Well, that's true.
And my family is
all from
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And so my grandparents loved the Yankees and loved Mickey Mantle, and we rooted and yelled and carried on. And so that's where I started to love the Yankees. But I know because, Bob, your stepdad, he hates the Yankees, and he grew up in
Brooklyn
New York.
Dodgers fan,
and,
yes.
Was it his Mets or his
Brooklyn Dodgers.
The New York.
If you'd stop talking, I've answered it twice. The Brooklyn Dodgers.
The Brooklyn Dodgers. Okay. Well, anyway, they never won, and so he hates the Yankees too. So he doesn't like that I like them either.
They did win one. They finally won.
Yes, I think he knows all the statistics of that one.
Yeah, he's got the poster in his office. It's in the den right there. If you walk down the hall, you'll see it. It's 1956. There's a big one there. It's got every player. He's had that up for as long as I can remember.
Yeah, oh my God, that absolutely. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now, 1955.
55.
Yes, 1955. Brooklyn Dodgers. Well, anyway, yes, so that's why he doesn't like the Yankees. And so, anyway, it's funny. I'm probably one of the few, except the people that live in New York, that love the Yankees.
Well, it's funny because your reasoning for loving the Yankees is the same as so many other people your age. It makes sense. I mean, there are people disparate all over the country who root for the Yankees because of the names you just rattled off. And they were good, and they were on TV all the time, and they were in the biggest market in the country. And so, it's a little bit like in the South, the number of people that I meet that root for the Braves because they were on every night. You could find the Braves before you could find anybody else.
Yeah, I know, it's funny. Yeah, we used to sit and my grandmother would make dinner, or whatever, we were having snacks, or if it was lunch or whatever, and we'd sit there and watch, and oh my Lord, they would carry on. So I just got wrapped up in it back when I was like in elementary school, and so I just carried over.
Well, here's hoping.
But I root for the Rays too.
I know you do. Well, I love you, Mom, and it's been a fun year. And
it has been a fun year. We'll do it again next year.
We will. Have fun watching the Super Bowl. I'll talk to you soon.
I will. Love you. Have a good weekend.
Love you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, there it is. Yeah, she so it was easier to take, though, because she didn't sit there and prattle on. She couldn't name a player for the Yankees right now. So it's not like she's like, oh, put the Yankees on. She didn't do that. She's like, how are the Yankees doing?
That's very different.
That's very, very different. I mean, she'll actively root for and cheer and watch the Rays because she lives down there. But the Yankees, I say, Mom, they're in the same division. Oh, I don't know. I don't look at that stuff. Like, well, they play them 19 times a year. Surely you're aware of that. Oh, I don't know. I don't think she's got the patience for baseball. She likes hockey.
Well, it's a great sport to jump on, especially now. It's really exciting, especially in that area of the country.
She roots for the Lightning and, loves them and loves the organization. And whenever I'm down, she'll say, you want to go to the Lightning game? She likes the Lightning, so that's good. And she watches, but she says hockey makes her too nervous. She can't. She's at an age where if it's very tense, if things are really, we both know what that's like, obviously, playoff hockey. Whew. But if you're in the third period of a 2-2 game, right about the 5-minute mark when things get ratcheted up, that intensity where both sides are now going for it, she's done. She's like, okay, flip it off and turn it back. Maybe we'll have the lead.
The hard part is, let's say you attempt to clear it out of your zone under 5 minutes to go, and you don't. And now they have it at the point.
And you're exhausted.
And yes, you guys are out of gas.
Yeah.
And you know that they get 2 or 3 free passes to set up whatever they want because you got to collapse. You're like,
oh.
Yeah. It's like, we need to save. It's just like, well, I'll stand up in those moments we're watching it. I need a whistle. We got to get a whistle. Come on, get us a whistle. Get us a whistle.
Guys, tongues are dragging on the ice. You're like, he's dead. He's got nothing left.
But the shot, I'm just looking, no rebounds. Come on, just swallow it up.
What is funny is for people learning hockey, the most standard way that you can tell, or the most obvious way, I should say, that somebody's new to hockey, this is not belittling anybody, but because I had to go through this too when really learning the intricacies of the game, is that it's hard for people to understand why there's no defensive pressure mounting in those situations. Why are they letting them just pass it wherever they want to? Because they don't have the legs.
Right, yeah.
They're all centralizing so that they can get a block or a save, and then from there, they'll make a line change, but you'll just hear, well, somebody get out there on him. Well, no, they can't.
So the equivalent, it's probably easier to think of it this way, is to
pass rush.
Well, no, run a suicide. Run a couple of suicide runs back and forth on a basketball court.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do done that because that's what a shift in hockey is.
Yeah.
Is start, sprint, stop, sprint. Start, sprint, stop, sprint. That's all back and forth for 200 feet. Now you're on skates, so the 200 feet doesn't matter as much. But that's the idea. Or do it from the 20-yard line, 30-yard line, and in for football, and then go play 2 in a row.
Well, right.
And tell me how much you can track a receiver who's fresh.
Yeah, no, you're in trouble. It's why you got to stand there and hope like hell that you get a save, as you just noted, or somebody turns the puck over or something like that, and then you can, you got a chance. Got a chance to change the line. Let's
Deflect,
go.
Yeah, well, you need a deflected
Go
shot
in
out of
the
play.
stands, yeah.
Yeah.
Something, anything. But you ain't going out to stop nothing is the point. And I look at it as a pass rush. When you see guys, people yell at the TV, why aren't they getting pressure on them?
Yeah.
Well, this is a 15-play drive, up-tempo. They don't have anything left. That end that you think is going to get pressure has nothing left in the tank.
But the greatest thing in the world is if that, let's say that's sustained pressure for 90 seconds, which in hockey is forever. I mean, that's forever.
Yeah.
And you get a loose puck that comes out of the zone and you're one-on-one, you go for it then. The forward goes
now
for
you
it.
gotta buck up.
Because they're tired from playing offense too, but
Yeah.
it's attack versus defend. The mentality keeps you fresher. It's funny how that works.
Well, opportunity is knocking at that point. You're like, oh, this is it. And scoring goals is fun.
But sometimes it's your fourth liner, so it's like your catcher running. And you're like, well,
Yeah,
he's not going to be safe. I don't care if the pitcher drops the ball, falls on
And
his
then if
back.
it happens, you're like, oh!
He can still get it right. You know, that's why it's a wonderful sport. It's great.
Come back, wrap it up. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Da-da-da-da-da. You know that Gronk hasn't spent any of his money? That he's been living off of money from his very first contract, and that every contract subsequently he's just put into the bank?
Well, it seems like he gets decent financial advice because, you know, there are a lot of really good NFL players who are quite anonymous on the endorsement front. But Gronk gets a lot of endorsements, and they do the reality show. I mean, he's pretty plugged into making secondary forms of revenue.
He's got streams of revenue coming in all over the place. You're not wrong. And I just was interested to think, man, this guy's going to retire. He looks like he's still getting around okay for now. He does like to engage in shenanigans. Over under on 20 years of life that Gronk has left the second he retires. Because, my God, man.
Oh, he's one of those who has tiger blood. I'll bet you he's around till he's in his 60s at least.
Yeah. It's crazy. And by the way, I would retire if I were him. All the back and surgeries.
How many more Super Bowls do you need to win?
Yeah, I mean, you've won Super Bowls. You've considered yourself. You've put yourself in the conversation for the Hall of Fame. You've done all. I mean, he's been.
He better be a Hall of Famer. I mean, you know, I know
he's missed so much time.
Yes, but for one of the judgment, I don't know what protocols would be. Are you one of the most dominant players in your period, the period that you played? And he absolutely is one of the most dominant players in the time that he played the game. I mean, he was different than Tony Gonzalez and Antonio Gates. He was more dominant than those players for a short period of time. And he's a part of Super Bowl winning teams, and that's a big thing for the Hall of Fame, too, the way the NFL votes. I mean, there are like anonymous dudes on the Steelers dynasties from the 70s that make it in because they were part of the Steelers dynasty. So I would think he's in.
I would think he is. I'm just saying he's missed a ton of time, but he has changed the game. And frankly, there's never been anybody like him. I mean, we just don't see people that are that massive and that athletic. There have been games where he was simply unguardable and would stand over really talented players after scoring again and again and throw the ball in their face and scream to the heavens. You're like, this guy's a menace. There's nothing you can do with this guy.
It's like, what? Yeah, exactly. What do you do with him? And we were marveling at Jimmy Graham when he was in New Orleans, but he dwarfed Jimmy Graham, and everybody talked about Jimmy when he first arrived on the scene.
Just silly.
Gronk was, I mean, we talked about him like his career's already over, but Gronk is an absolute freak.
I brought it up because during the break I was just reading a side article here trying to get more information on the Super Bowl, and I was looking about relative health of the key players in this game. And in doing so, I found the article in which he talked about he's on the fence. He's 50-50 right now about whether or not he'll come back. He was asked that all week long and said he wasn't sure. You know, and they asked him, you know, what would you do? Would you consider life without football? And he said, I really haven't tried to envision that day. This is the biggest game of the year, so I'm really only focused on that right now. This is the time of year, you know, you want to be focused on your work and be ready for game day. So I want to put it all out there on the line for this game on Sunday, and then I'll know more afterwards. But these all these articles kind of get in line with a guy that sounds like he's on the is going to retire. Because he's talking about the pounding his body has taken, where his mind's at, all the money he's saved. I mean, all these things are coming out about all of that. That's, you know, it seems to me he's setting up for life after.
Well, I know it's a very subjective thing, but it's a test that I think it was John Butchergross used to say about hockey Hall of Famers. Close your eyes. Somebody says the name to you. Is he a Hall of Famer? What's the first thing that pops in your mind? Yes or no? And that's one of the best tests you could do. For me, if you say Rob Gronkowski to me, I say, yes, that dude has to be a Hall of Famer.
It's he does. You're right. I need to go back. I'm under the impression that he's missed upwards of in his career, I don't know, 2.5 full seasons. I mean, he's missed a lot of time, but he has been so prolific in the time that he has played that perhaps I just am focused on the wrong thing there. Big Daddy says yes tonight, okay? Are you ready? I said I'd do this. There you go. If you want to play the music on our way out, Tom, you certainly can, because Big Daddy J has been absent as of late. By the way, the Islanders that red hot prior to the break and doing some silly things, but Big Daddy's going to give that goal and a half. Cue it up.
Hey, Big Daddy, having some Red Russians tonight?
We'll know in about 47 seconds.
Into an open wing. It's picked up by Doughty, an empty net. He scores.
Hot damn, Big Daddy's done it again. Red Russians all around, Teddy.
All right, Big Daddy.
My question to you is, do we double down on the game? Over, under 6.5? What say you?
That's an over.
We're going. Give the goal and a half. Take the over. Big Daddy for Red Russians. We'll talk to you on Monday.
Wow. So they're giving, the Lightning are giving a goal and a half.
People see the deal.
Oh,
They see the setup, buddy.
Barry Trotz is something else as a coach.
Here comes 5 goals for you. Boom! It's going to happen. 5-2. Over and a cover. Woo! Way to go, Bolts. Talk to you on Monday. Be well, everybody.